Okay, we will open this meeting of January 5th, 2012. Let the record show, hooray, all the selectmen are present. Welcome back, Norm.
Hey, Norm.
Thank you.
Very nice. We have one FYI file. Dear Selectmen, well, here we go again with what I hope to be another good year for building. We will be starting out our year by sending 2 violation letters for people starting up what some people would consider junkyards. He's contacted Scott McGuffin, and they came up with a letter for everyone that will fall within the category. This letter would be the letter that he gave us to proofread. Code enforcement, Al LaPlante. So we have 2 people. Permission for the movable skate rink to be put on the property.
Oh, wait a minute. Anything else?
And 2 light poles.
And
A movable shed.
may I copy that, please?
Oh, way.
I'm holding my breath on that one.
I'll take a copy. I'll take a copy.
You can sign this one, did you sign it on purpose? You beat me.
No, I skipped over it.
You didn't see it?
Right. Okay, before we get into the minutes, is Tim ready or no? He said we said, 4:45, okay. Never mind. Before we get started, as a matter of clarification, because we've gotten 2 phone calls today, reading the echo, that even though it was, I guess it's the way you interpret it, it said something, I haven't read the article, so I apologize. No, but, okay, if you pass that over to me, I'd be...
I think that's the one.
Well, what's in question is that, Cormier told the board he had received an estimate of $24,465 to purchase a new Ford Intercept, or $26,610 to include a service contract. It would cost the town $9,588.21 annually per car with an extended service contract, but no extended warranty. Equipment and paint was not included. Okay, after discussion, the board voted unanimously to allow for an encumbrance from the general fund for 1 cruiser not to exceed $29,500 and called for the second to come from their budget as written in conjunction with the detail fund, which is correct. Both cars were directed to be purchased from AutoServe in Tilton, which is correct. However, what's omitted from this is that the chief came in with 3 bids from 3 dealerships, and AutoServe was the lowest bid. That is why we chose AutoServe, so that other people don't think that the selectmen just decided to pick AutoServe. The chief came in with 3 bids, so the article is, the article is correct, but what's not said is that there are 3 bids coming in there. It's not a big deal.
My apologies to the board.
Well, it's always been our policy to have three bids. We don't even allow someone, any purchase over $500, we don't allow it to be brought before us unless it has 3 pieces of paper, so bids associated with it. Tim, you ready for us? Okay. I'm going to move this right along.
I'll just do this here. And
Excuse me, I think the chair should take a look at it first.
let me introduce to you one of the
It's
tablets.
black. I just want you to know that.
This is Toshiba Thrive. It was relatively inexpensive compared to others. It has a SD card slot so that as you're using it for reference purposes, we can load movies onto it or onto the card slot. You can watch it on it. It's an Android device. It has a lot of other connectivity means. And unfortunately, I think the battery isn't quite as charged today, but it's a standard, type tablet. So it can be used by citizens coming in wanting to watch a movie, or by the board, or both. I have for you this evening.
I thought I was doing well getting a Kindle.
I have the projected revenues for 2012. And as you look at our budget,
Do you have a comparison from last year to...
I have the budget
Just
for
the
last
total?
year. Yep, it's
What's the
down at the
total
bottom.
revenues?
1,003,000. Where is it here? Oh, so I just didn't print the last page. It did not print the last page. It's 1,003,037. It's missing a page at the very end. That's
So-
annoying. I guess.
The budget
I
amount,
have our projected tax rate on there along with the totals.
just so I'm reading this right, the
You wanna
budget
print it?
amount was for the 2011 budget, and then we've got the actuals that we've collected.
That's correct. And there are
Okay,
some...
so you can kind of base it on that, seeing as how we're already into 2012, right? This is as of December 31st?
Yeah, there's still some adjustments being made. There's still some revenues that have yet to be updated. I really should go print that last page. It's critical to this. So if you want to just take a moment and take a look at this, just some of the larger items that are different from last year I'll point out to you is in the sale of town property, which is on page 2, and that pertains to projected auctions and the amount of money that we would receive from those auctions that's due to the town, including the penalties. So I shall be right back.
Well, we should get that. We should actually receive that. I thought it was going to be lower.
Well, that includes all of our costs.
Yep.
The taxes.
Penalties.
This,
Penalties,
Costs and
everything.
penalties.
The cost and
All of
penal-
Cindy's costs.
Right.
the cost and penalties in our agreed upon houses that were not
I think you
taken.
factored that into this. 'cause we're not
That's in
selling it.
another revenue? Is that?
Must be in a different
That's a
revenue
question to
line,
ask
if
him.
we're
He
not selling that.
may not have considered that. Because you're right, we're not selling it.
But that's, we're getting a portion of other fees.
But when you stop and think about that property on Beach Street, you know, that 110,000 is,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Well,
I
that's,
think what's owed with the penalties and everything is up over
89 or something.
$90,000. So, and then you look at those two vacant lots on 127.
well, that's why I thought this was a low figure.
Yeah. Well, he's estimating, well, actually, this is probably more actual than not, because we're only allowed to take what we're owed.
Right.
And then any overage from the sale has to go back to any
Right,
creditors or the owners.
Yeah, but the oxymoron of it is, we don't have to sell it at a profit. We can sell it for what it's owed to us.
right.
Exactly. That's why I said,
Makes no
if
sense.
any overage,
Yeah, but I mean, it makes no sense, the law.
no. You gotta run for legislature.
No, we need it right here.
That's good enough for her old man.
I mean, it's a shame we can't share her, you know, keep her here, have her down.
Clone her.
They're so nice.
You want to see it? Look it, we have emails right here.
Maybe that
I
machine
have
can
a
clone
hard
it.
enough time doing it on a big thing. I can't.
Look it,
I can't
here's the back button, I mean, it's
imagine.
right there. It's, look it, I could just say, here you go. Here's our emails.
These aren't very good.
Look at that letter.
We don't know where they came from.
I don't know.
It's supposed to be a
Is this email in here yours?
Did you say you don't know where this came from?
Tilton1@gmail?
No, that's one
Just
set up,
picked it up off the side of the road.
Okay.
and then it can be changed, but I had to have one to sign up.
It's weird, right?
It's not as good as ours.
Oh, it isn't?
Ah, there we go.
It's supposed to be extra fruit, but it's
Thank you
Oh,
for
yeah, that's
interrupting our
wimpy.
meeting. I was just,
not. If you were waiting to get the copy.
That's wimpy.
I'll show you.
$600,000 higher?
Okay, so, this is really the important page.
I have one question before you go, because we had it before you went down. The revenues that we're receiving from the agreement for the house that we're not taking on deed, where does that fall into this revenue here?
The portion that is, right now, it's, you won't see it actually in this actual column, because it's going to show up in the sale of town property, because technically, the repurchase of the deed is a sale of town property.
Right.
And then the rental goes into the miscellaneous.
And miscellaneous, okay.
So
Got it.
then, I guess it goes to where
So next year, we
Pat was thinking, and I was thinking that you were dead on, that the 100,
Right, 100 and,
$110,050, now, doesn't that number become a little bit low? Or is that basically what is owed to the town on all these properties?
well,
That's the real
it's
question
actually-
is, how did you derive at that figure?
Sure. There's three components to it. Basically, it's recouping our costs on the property that's going to be auctioned, and we can only recoup our costs in the
Yeah.
property, the interest, the penalty, and so on and so forth. So, there's one property there, plus the remainder of the tax deed on the property that's being repurchased by the owner.
What about the two vacant lots?
Those, when Joyce and I discussed it, we felt it was best to leave those off for now because the board had not decided whether or not to keep them or to auction them.
I thought we decided to auction them.
I thought we had. Maybe we didn't.
I don't think we formally made a motion, but we
Oh,
we had a discussion about
Yeah.
it. You clarified what they were for,
Right.
and we said so, but we
So
didn't
I-
make a motion to do
Well,
it.
I personally would prefer to err on the more conservative side.
Oh, that's
Be a little lower
understandable.
If we do end up selling them. And keep in mind that this is simply, this projection is what will eventually go before the Budget Committee and then go into the MS7. And it will get revised before the tax rate setting time on the MS4. And the MS4 is really what counts because that's in the it's due September 1, but we usually push it out past that to get the most, current and accurate revenues as possible for that tax rate setting before the tax rate setting date. And those revenues are really the ones that are used for tax rate setting. So this is more of this is what we think is going to happen in September, early October. We we now have a 6-week window. We're pretty sure now that all these other things are going to happen, and that's what's used for the tax rate setting. So this is really just for citizens, really a guide as to, how we think things are going to end up, which is why that last page is so critical, because as you can see, I plugged in what would be the projected appropriation of, you'll see right in the center under the actual column in the projected town tax revenue or tax rate calculation. And then less the projected revenues that are in this, so it shows the net expense, then the adjustments for abatement, veterans, and overlay, and then what we would have to raise. And you can see down at the bottom where it shows what the reduction in percentage terms would be. So now that's without any warrant articles, that's without any other further adjustments from the Budget Committee. So clearly, it's a very, high level.
Dark?
Exactly. But what it represents is based on the revenues that are in here as compared to what we believe the budget's going to be passing at town meeting. This is just just more than anything, just kind of a high level view for you. So there really aren't very many changes within these lines. We do feel better about the rooms and meals number. That came in higher than we had projected, and it looks to stay the same for this next year. Highway block grant, they had made a mistake in their announcements. They had to reduce it during the year, so that's why you see that the estimate is reduced for next year. Many of our revenues were coming in stronger from the departments. Building inspections were way up. You'll note that I did put in a figure for health officer inspection, considering that it would be a partial year.
Is that wise, though, because we're not a self-inspecting town, and this is revenues, right? And
Well-
right now, there are absolutely no charges for health officer inspections.
Well, the reason I have it in here is because it was approved in the budget.
But the budget hasn't been approved.
Well, the budget was approved by the Budget Committee, and therefore, the Budget Committee taking...
Their
well,
budget's not final.
Right, but hear me out for a second. To keep it equitable between the revenues and expenses, the Budget Committee has said, okay, we can see the reason why, and we're approving this additional expenditure for salary. So therefore, by the same token, you have to show a projected increase for the revenue. If for some reason town meeting took out the expense, then we would also bring down the revenue.
It's not a big effect.
We
anyway.
still have to petition and send forth so that we can
Right.
do the inspections, and that's going to take
Time.
time
Right.
to do that, so yes, it would be a partial, probably more like a half a year rather than a partial year.
That's what I was basing this on.
Oh, okay.
Outside of that and the sale of town property, really very little other changes. I do see one which was incorrect, which I thought I took out, but it somehow got back in, which was a reimbursement line of $3,550, which I would recommend taking out. So if you look at the bottom line of...
Can we go back to the items? School resource officer reimbursement, what's this $43,000 figure based on?
So that's based on if you look at the school's year,
Right, because it's
because
not,
they're on a fiscal year.
Right.
Looking at half of their next year's budget
Okay.
and half of
Half of-
what we had from last
Okay.
year.
Now, have you projected,
Plus the car.
thank you.
You're welcome. You'd ask.
I noticed that...
That was gonna be my question.
went from 969 to 4,500. There's no way to know what we might realize depending on when that facility is actually functioning.
Where did that go from 969 to...
I was going to get to that one, the recycling. The reason for that is the change that we made in the highway department expense budget.
I don't see
Because we had
160?
Dennis, the recycling is
He was just using offsets.
at the bottom of page 2. He was using offsets on his invoices, so now we're showing the full expense in his and that amount that was different is what we put in as the additional revenue. It was $3,600.
Okay, so why do you have recycling under other, 969, 160? On the third page.
You come from departments?
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, you do have that down.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. We have, I'll tell you why. Because that was income received from the recycling committee on those...
Sale of the
Thank you. Yep.
compost bins.
Bingo. Right.
Okay,
So the difference is the recycling from highway, the recycling from
gotcha.
the committee.
Okay.
Committee-generated revenue.
Okay.
The chief, we brought down his grants to match his expense. Interest income is up. We've already seen an appreciable increase in the transition of our banking relationship. And I've been working with the trustees, I've been working with the Conservation Commission, and probably also with sewer to see the effect of this, but we're already seeing many times the interest just from the month of December alone. So give you an example, the trustees made a deposit into our new bank, and which was appreciably smaller than the amount of money they had at the old banking relationship, and we made more money in that 1 month with less deposit on hand than at the other bank. So,
Very nice.
it's very clear that we're going to do much better, but I kept it still at what I consider to be a conservative figure, since this is the first year in this. But I saw to it that the Conservation Commission monies were transferred, so those accounts are now moved from PDIP to our new bank, to Franklin Savings, the
Parks.
the planning and zoning account, that's moved, the credit card account, and the only thing left is the operating account. And that's still going to take a little time. I was hoping through the end of this month. We'll just have to see. But as quickly as I can move it over. So anyway, there's additional monies in here for interest, and that's why.
Are you able to run a total for the property tax interest that we charge?
It's right here.
You can, so I can see the 12%, the 18%?
Oh, you mean how that was collected? You mean how much was
The total,
12 and how much was
the total
18?
that was collected in 2011 per
It's
se,
not final yet.
and the total that we collected in 2010, and I asked,
Oh, absolutely, I can give
there's
that to you
proposed
very easily.
legislation, once again, to reduce those interest rates.
It's considerable, the amount of money we collect.
Yeah.
Considerable. These numbers that you see on interest and penalties aren't final yet. I was working on this last night, and I still have more work to do on it for year end, so
Can
there's a
you
lot of
keep
catch-up right now.
Keep a mental note and pull those figures together for 2010 and 2011?
On my page.
So we can, I don't think we have to go back much further than that. That way we'll be
10
prepared.
and 11.
Yeah, we'll be prepared to go to the hearings. I wonder when that fellow was up again. He's not from our district, but I might campaign against him. That would be great.
So last year, the Budget Committee made changes to, really, I think the only line they changed was the motor vehicle line,
Yep.
which they had taken down, which, certainly their ability to do. However, we came in right where we thought we were going to be. I think we had originally budgeted 450. We came in at 450, practically 452. So in sitting down with Cindy and reviewing her projected revenues, she felt good about the higher figure. And if you look at an average over years, I think that it's supportive. Building permits and land use income was also up considerably. A lot of that has to do with, I think, our code enforcement officer, making sure that, we're the permits are being pulled and we're receiving the release from those. And also, if the new fee structure goes into place, I think we'll see even more.
What's lines eliminates?
There were some lines that were eliminated that accounted, if you were to tally up the 2011 budgeted figure, there's $1,750 roughly of very small lines. One was, we used to have a UCC line, but the way the state is refunding the money, providing the money to the clerk, she actually processes it through a different line now. It's in the other for the clerk, so it just was, these are housekeeping things. There were very small items that added up to $1,750, so it was just kind of consolidating and where it made sense. Before we had two police fines lines, and so it was consolidating it into one. So in any event, I do still plan to reorder the revenue accounts this year to make a little more sense. The way you see it here and with the headings on the far left is how it's presented in the MS4. So that's why these are grouped as the way they are. But for our purposes, when we run a revenue report, it's still a little cattywampus for me, so I'm hoping to have enough time to make the change. I lived in Atlanta for a while,
I was going to say, you've been talking to Sandy too much.
And now what we're having right now, this is an Atlanta winter. Let me tell you, it's a southern winter.
Works for me.
So.
Don't get your hopes
All
up.
right, so if anything...
Just a confirmation, the miscellaneous income received from the Highway Department is the fees for dumping various
Yep,
computer, whatever,
that's correct.
strictly.
Bless you. Thank you. So the total comes out to $1,904,305, and taking out that other amount, I would recommend $1,941,000 even. Now, of course, this is without any warrant articles or anything else.
And we do have warrant articles planned to refund or to put monies into capital reserves.
Right. But I haven't heard of any large money, appropriating money warrant articles, correct?
No, we don't have any projects. We're taking care of the problem in the alleyway, which we thought was going to cost us hundreds of thousands for
Tens of thousands.
short money.
Anyway.
And the potential, the other
The,
potential.
We
right.
haven't any resolution to, or what was the island?
The island
Right,
was
that's, we would,
We were going to raise and appropriate monies for an engineer. Did we put
Right.
that in the budget?
no, I don't think
Be a
we...
warrant
no,
article.
we're going to do a warrant article, they were going to do a warrant article.
And it's going to be contingent on
Correct.
whether it passes there. So
There.
there's one.
Right, that would be the only
Oh, I'm
one.
sure there will be some, yeah.
But
I'm sure there will be.
that's the only one I can think of.
So that would be my recommendation, $1,941,000.
All right.
On my sheet, Joyce is going to bring up some deduction recommendations to streamline our payroll later, and I'm in complete agreement. And would be happy to be a part of that if I'm here when that takes place. I have to meet with the school district at 6 tonight. So, other than that,
What was that?
the deductions.
Oh, okay. All right.
So-
Right, you briefed us on that, right.
So
Yep.
specifically, if there's any questions about what's already transpired, I would be more than happy to discuss that. But I do think there are things that we can do to simplify and streamline the process, and maybe even as it pertains to advanced checks and other things, sort of getting all the one-offs out of the way and making it more replicable process. So simpler, less complex. But in any event, you'll probably notice there's a lot of technology sitting in my office, and there will be more so since we were able to take advantage of some year-end deals. So that's going to be occupying my January, February time in addition to the audit. But and I've already briefed you on the bank transfer, and seemed to put that in twice. So that's with an exclamation point.
I didn't get one of
That's my
those
page
sheets.
4.
Did you pass out one of those top sheets?
I did I not?
Nope.
I didn't get one.
There really is very little. It's one of my shorter Cliff Note versions. Here.
Well, pretty short.
Yep. So,
Are we completely, bank in process, okay. We'll be cut over by the beginning.
There's one account. Now, the sewer commission also has, they have an operating account, and they have a capital reserve account, which are both under the purview of the treasurer, the custody of the treasurer. But, you know, I think they're sort of seeing, you know, what the town's results are going to be before making any changes. But other than that, all the other accounts have been moved over. So,
Okay.
all right.
Have all the capital reserve accounts been funded now?
They have. And everything is reconciled with the Parks Commission. The last check came from the trustees, and so we're good.
Good to go, okay.
Great, thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Go into the minutes. (11:1).
I'll make a motion to bring the minutes of 11/1/11 to the floor for discussion and approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. I just want to say that these were handed out, and I sat down with Catherine and I filled in all the missing times that she has, and put a part on the bottom where it showed us coming out of non-public, making the motion to seal the minutes, and then adjourning the meeting. So she has a copy of that.
Do we have a copy of that?
Well, it's right here, if you want to pass it down for everybody to see. Or I can make copies. I took the times off I used my notes and the non-public minutes to fill in the times that were missing.
Yep. I'm fine with that. Catherine?
Oh, sorry. Trying to decide if I remember that meeting.
Down at the very bottom of the page, it says there's no record of any approval from either the state or the town. I think that should be either.
Okay. Are you putting that correction on?
Just the time.
Oh, okay.
Did you catch that? On the second to the last sentence, any approval from either the state or the town instead of other. Any more discussion on the minutes? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Did you catch the abstention? Okay. November 3rd.
I'll make a motion, we bring the minutes for November 3rd, 2011 to the floor for discussion and approval.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. On page 2, I believe we want to say about the second paragraph, well, the first big paragraph there. It says, the sentence where it begins, "the mortar and joints are not weakened." I think we want it to say are now weakened.
Get rid of the second now. You say mortar and joints are now weakened and water is.
I would just leave out not and say are weakened, the mortar and joints are weakened,
Right.
All right, so just,
or weak.
and water is now seeping into the basement of the town hall.
I'd leave
So,
off the E.
so cross off not?
Right.
And the ENED and just put the mortar and joints are weak and water is now seeping into the basement of town hall.
Okay.
Further down in that paragraph, water from his building will continue to sustain, it should say cause, I think.
Yeah, sustain is not.
Yeah, cause is a little more direct.
How far down are you?
About-
About a little more than halfway. Will continue is the two words on the left side.
Okay.
Will continue to cause?
Cause instead of sustain.
It's the wall that's sustaining the damage, it's the rain, the water that's causing the damage.
Right.
To our building, and then the rest of the sentence, damage to our building as long, right? As long. Okay, look should be long.
Down a little further, Selectman Dawson explained that the roof cannot tip towards our building. It would have to be a flat roof, not room, or tilt towards the inn away from both buildings.
How can it tip away from the inn?
In that alley, it's got to tip towards one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just put tip towards the end and leave the other out,
Yeah.
period. Do we know if he's actually removed the roof?
Don't know.
And again, and you've written room, endeavor to remove the room instead of roof.
Spell check is tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when you're putting the wrong word, but it's still a word.
We should send him a letter. Writing down exactly what we expect from him, so that he does respond. Now that we have an actual estimate and can actually tell him what his 50% of the cost of that would be.
On page 3, it says, "A notice from Jane Alden, Chair of the Planning Board for John Bernard's conditional use permit." Shouldn't it say a notice was read, or...
No, she was letting us know that
No,
meeting was
no.
going to take place, wasn't she?
No, that was read out of the FYI, but I believe. We took that information out of the FYI file.
Oh,
Right.
So it should read, "was read."
Right. I know this was read.
and it was from Jane Aldrin. Was read?
Right. The notice was from the
Oh, I
planning
see.
board.
This makes it sound like she,
Right.
verbally, I get it.
Even though she's here, right.
I caught up.
I had a question on page 4, Catherine. Down about the middle of the page, it says the approval of minutes of September 8, 2011. It says Chair Constantino made a motion to approve the minutes of September 8th as corrected, seconded by Selectman Plessner.
No
And then it's
vote.
just blank. Okay, I just checking. I thought, well, maybe you listened and we didn't actually take a vote or something. Okay, all in favor? Okay.
Anyone know where the chief is?
Oh, what?
Where the chief is?
Send him a text from that fancy tablet there. I knew she couldn't resist.
Okay. Okay, I'll do it.
Looks like we've lost Pat.
Yeah.
Text.
You want me to text him on my phone?
Well, there's going to be a learning curve, you know.
Come on, we just got it. Come on.
Get out early. I know her gadgets.
You should see my wife with the gadgets. She's all about gadgets.
Okay, I had another thing on page 7. First of all, on page 6, down about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th line, it says Selectman Dawson reminded them there is a sign ordinance and only the zoning board can grant temporary signage, but it should say the planning board.
I think it was supposed to say variance.
Oh, okay. Oh, so along,
Does that make sense?
yes, Selectmen reminded them, and only the zoning board can grant a variance. Well, no, temporary signage is already in the zoning, and it is approved by the code enforcement, actually. If they fill out a special permit in the code enforcement officers, then they pay the fee, and they get a temporary permit.
Where are you?
Where it says Selectman Dawson reminded them there is a sign ordinance and only the zoning board can grant temporary signage along with a special
Oh,
permit.
yep, that is planning board.
That's done by the
That is
planning
planning board.
board and the code enforcement officer.
Absolutely correct.
And then I have on page 7, down towards the bottom of the page, fourth line up if you count favor at the bottom, you have a total estimate is $658.00.40. Now, I wasn't sure, is it $658.40? Okay, so we just need to get rid of those 2 zeros. And I think that's all I...
Have we heard from the state on that parking issue?
Yes, I was going to ask that too.
We have heard from them?
Oh, I don't know. That's
Oh.
why I'm
No, we
just...
haven't. I've sent them reminders, and the last one we got was maybe 2-3 weeks ago from Mark Malone saying they were still looking into it. They wanted to thoroughly research it before they responded.
Okay.
We can send another. This is Protect 3 Main Street.
Yes.
Yeah,
When was the last time we heard from them?
3 weeks ago, before the holidays.
Before Christmas or before November?
Christmas.
I can check it, because I remember it was from Mark Malone.
They were looking into data
Right.
research.
I think the only information they have is a letter.
But they're using the parking lot now, coming out egress onto the main street, in between the flags, the pole and the building. They're using that parking,
So they're
instead of going onto Prospect Street,
they're
and
bypassing Prospect Street?
they're going from the pole,
Maybe
pole.
we could ask them
The
to
pole
put
in
a
the building.
barricade there. So they're bypassing the light.
November 30th was from Mark Morrell and Bill Lambert, and then I sent an acknowledgement that I was forwarding it to the board on December 1st.
Okay, so that was over a month ago. So if we had sent them another reminder, and maybe we could, let them know that now, what's happening now, that they're bypassing the light and accessing Route 311 via the parking lot. Instead of going on the left side of the pole, they're going on the right side of the pole.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, from which direction?
From the parking lot.
They're coming down
Hopefully to make a right-hand turn.
parking lot, instead of getting out onto Academy Street and going to the light,
Try to turn left.
right?
Okay, so from the parking lot,
Go to
instead
the
of
light.
Instead of going out onto the street and going to the light and waiting for it to change,
Prospect Street, okay,
that Prospect, I'm sorry, they're going, here's the pole, they're going in between the pole and the flags. They're bypassing the light, that's what.
Taking a right-hand turn onto 3 and 11.
So maybe if we tell them that's going on, maybe.
You should inform Mr. Cropsey somewhere along the way.
They actually, when they come in to park into the parking lot, they don't park up against the building, they park facing towards Main Street so they can zip right out.
I can understand that from their point of view.
I can too. It's human nature, that's why we ask for if a parking spot is there, it's human nature that people see it, they're going to park there. And now it's human nature, if they see an outlet, they take it.
Okay, that was all the corrections I had on this set of minutes.
I guess I move that we accept the minutes as corrected.
Second?
Sure.
I wasn't at this meeting, all I have to do is a very good meeting from what Joe told me, but I don't know how many times nothing was said in the tape, I looked at it's documented by times, so see the last page of
Oh, that's right.
non-public, and the next meeting adjourned.
Is that the midnight meeting?
Yeah, that was the resolutions. I wasn't there.
We came out of the non-public at,
You know what time you went into it?
yeah, it was, we said, oh, this is going to be a short meeting, it was around 7.
I thought this was a late meeting.
It was, we had a huge non-public.
Right.
This is the one that I ended up leaving early.
I was just going to say, Norm, you at one point were here.
Yeah.
We went into non-public around 8:30, and we didn't get out of non-public until 10:45. I believe we officially adjourned 11:15. Because if we'd said a few more minutes, we would have done a record.
What time did we come out of non-public?
10:45.
10:45.
The chief is on his way.
This is the week we're supposed to just, the overtime.
No,
It was last week?
that was last week. This week is because of the holiday. The
Okay, so you got all the times? All right.
They, with Mitt Romney being here tomorrow night, the chief got, he's here tomorrow at the Tilton School for a spaghetti supper. So
I was invited. Want to go?
Jim has asked that
No.
Jim has asked that we
no
allow them
George
to park in the
McGovern, but-
municipal parking for tomorrow, the overflow from the overflow. We said yes, because he needed a decision this afternoon, so
Catherine, we could have a great time heckling.
we just said no overnight after midnight.
What time is it?
6.
Oh, she's gonna go.
I don't think I could be sick.
Make loud rude noises.
spots way in the rear, because our
For the residential people, right?
may interfere with.
Right.
Did you tell him that Catherine was going to say a speech? No?
No, I asked you
Introduce
where
the governor.
it was, and you said it was on campus.
The governor's going to be there?
Governor Romney.
Oh,
That was his last elected office.
You got
okay.
an invite?
Yeah.
I did too, but like formally,
I didn't.
I'm too busy. I can't afford it. We're talking about the spaghetti supper here in Tilton tomorrow at Mitt Romney.
Oh, yes.
the questions I would want to ask him would just be,
Where is that
Tilton School.
Might be a good thing. Put him on a spot.
tonight? What time?
If you can't handle Tilton School spaghetti supper, how's he gonna?
Is it, it's at 6
6
o'clock?
o'clock.
Right, 6 o'clock?
I better let Tom go after.
Huh, already did.
That's what I was showing her, the picture of him with his fingers.
Okay, do we have a motion and a second
Yeah,
to?
it's all motion and seconded.
All those in favor of accepting the minutes as amended?
What
Aye.
date?
aye.
November 1st.
November 1st.
Oh, yeah.
Third. Third.
Yes, yes, I thought we did that. Sorry.
Been that long since we discussed it.
Okay, moving right along here.
15th? Yes.
I'd like to move the minutes, we'll switch off this time, Sandy. I'd like to move the minutes
can make
of
a
November
suggestion.
15th, 2011 to the floor for discussion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Whoa, this is a morning one.
No wonder I don't remember being there. Apparently I was, but
Yep.
hadn't had my 5th cup of coffee yet.
I guess we hadn't had enough coffee. We don't remember this one.
Better get Mark a couple too. Mark, a couple Butterfingers, yep. This side, I read this one
You gotta
before.
take the paper off.
Did you see on page 2, the bold? We haven't got that information yet, so when the chief comes, if we move on from the minutes, can you remind us that we need to ask him for that information?
Right.
In the bold on page 2, the detailed list of vehicle maintenance expenses, not just maintenance performed in the house. And also the cost of, on the drawer on the battery. Except he did report to us on that. That was it recalled or something, that they were doing something different to it? Right.
Somebody doing something different.
He did do that on that, okay. Make a motion, we accept the minutes of November 15th, 2011.
Second?
Any further discussion, corrections, additions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
I will abstain.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to bring the minutes of December 28, 2011 to the floor for discussion and approval.
Second.
I only had some minor punctuation
Okay.
corrections. And the fourth paragraph, discussions began on proposed encumbrances. That shouldn't be possessive, it's just plural. So you want to lose the apostrophes.
Okay.
There are 2 of them there.
Yep.
And then the third one up from the bottom. It was a little bit confusing to read at first, so I added a couple of commas. And it's like, the board added not to exceed $1,000 to change order number 2 for the removal and installation of the basement door, comma, without window and hardware, comma, to code. Which still seems like the sentence is lacking something, but I didn't know what it should say.
I don't know if there should be a comma. Where'd you put your comma?
I put the commas between without window, basement door, comma, without window and hardware, comma, to code.
Isn't hardware to code?
It's,
The hardware is for the coding.
right.
All right.
The hardware-
Well, see, that's where,
Yeah.
without, the comma should go after window
Yeah,
then.
but I think it's with window. Not
No,
without.
they're not getting a window in
There's
that
no
door.
window in that basement door.
Okay, without a window
Right.
and hardware.
And with coding hardware.
Let's see, the whole sentence was a little bit,
Hardware that meets code.
Hardware that meets code, there you go.
Hardware that meets code.
all right.
The next sentence after that, the key access was removed from encumbrances, I don't believe that's true.
Yeah, it was.
We have that in encumbrances.
I didn't see it on the list.
It was me.
Why is my system here?
It was taken off. It's something that Mary was talking about it, and I made a note of it.
It's not,
The addition was taken off,
but he did the new ones. He wanted some more.
the additional ones, but where are the,
Oh, okay.
where are the original ones?
That's, those are the virtuals. Those are.
Okay.
In,
So then we should
Okay.
add the
So
word
I should say
additional?
The additional key accesses were
Right.
removed? I remember him talking
So
about,
those
he had no work order.
those
We
are the key
purchased those,
access
though.
For the other doors.
Correct,
The ones for the basement door, we had been discussing
Right.
all along.
right. We purchased those, though, we didn't encumber the money.
Right, they were already purchased, but it was these for the other doors. He had no work
So
order or anything, so we just...
purchased one for the downstairs door,
Right,
right? So what
Yes,
this is
the new
referring
one,
to
the
are-
garage door going into the, where the supervisors are, that area.
Okay.
okay, so now you want this sentence to be changed to additional key accesses? Key access for doors was removed.
I would just say the additional key access
For doors. Or
No.
entryways, how about that? Because you have, they might not
I
all,
would just take off the, and make key accesses were removed.
is accesses ES, just ES?
Yes.
but some of them were already purchased, Catherine.
Right, but that's,
But it was the
it's
additional
redundant
ones.
that they were. So just put key accesses were removed.
Right, you're right.
Okay.
So just
Key
remove,
accesses were removed from the encumbrances. There
Right.
was no work order. Okay, and then just get rid of, they will be added to 2012 budget.
right, because they're not added.
Okay. All right.
So there was a discussion on which cars to take offline. I thought we were going to look at receipts and have a conversation with Dennis before we made a decision which to take offline.
Well, that's just what was said at the meeting.
There was no decision to,
No, it was just discussion.
right, there was
After
no,
discussion, the chief agreed the 2005
Right.
would be
So
taken
that should be-
offline after the new car is purchased.
that should be changed, because it's not,
Change it.
the chief
It
is,
concurred.
Yeah, concurred.
no, the chief, after discussion, the chief proposes that 2005 should be taken offline after the new car, because that's what he would like to see happen. That's not necessarily what we agreed upon.
Right.
So
We also discussed that being a health officer car.
well, one of the vehicles, but we wanted to see the maintenance, which was back on the prior
Right.
report. We wanted to see the maintenance performed in-house, and then the board would be able to determine which vehicles would be replaced.
Right,
It's supposed to be bringing us the maintenance reports from
right.
AutoServe,
AutoServe,
Irwin's, and the other
Irwin's,
places they
right.
do.
Yep,
And then have Dennis here so we can talk about it.
correct.
Right. Okay, so.
That's still in process,
That's been,
Catherine.
what, a month?
It's at least 3 weeks, at least.
So it should be changed to after discussion, the chief suggested?
Right, you could say that's recommended.
Okay, recommended. The 2005 be taken off? No, it
Right.
would be taken offline after the new car is purchased.
Right.
Okay. All right.
I have a question on the second page. Mr. Pearson advised the board that the total encumbrance amount approved was $78,128.33.
That was as of that meeting.
And the
Yes.
total encumbrance amount under review was $7,094.12. Something's missing.
Right. No, well, that was as of that meeting.
Right, but it doesn't say that.
Doesn't add up to that either. It adds up to $2,000 more than that.
No, it said the total amount approved was $78,128, and the amount that was under review was $7,000, meaning we hadn't approved $7,094 yet.
Right.
Okay,
The
so...
total amount encumbered, a total approved amount encumbered
Yes.
is $83,101.03.
So that was current, that's what
This
had
is current.
already
Right.
been approved,
That's right.
Was the
and
78,128.
that you were looking at
We were looking at,
another $7,094.12.
which
Okay.
which
I
of
just-
which we only accepted 5,000 of it.
Right.
Okay,
Ultimately, but it was
all right,
after
I just
that.
wanted to clarify.
Right. Joyce, did you relay this message? I'm looking at the minutes of the meeting on the fire chief, on the code system that was the strobe that was replaced at the Home Depot light?
No, I did not. I assumed that since it was directed to the chief, that the chief was going to get back to him. I can follow up.
No, we asked that it be explained why we had said no to that. And I had a further conversation with one of the commissioners, and they wanted us to go in, what was the total amount? It was $1,654.
Right.
And the total amount they wanted us to split half with on the strobe, that
I just read that, and
they wanted us to go in halves with it, and we felt that if we went in halves with them for $827, then we would still be on the hook for 64% of the remainder, but not necessarily if we agreed upon a fixed amount and said, we will make this agreement with the fire district for $827, and that's all we'll pay of that money.
how can they do that?
I don't know, but that's what I was
They
told.
can't do that. I mean, it's a district. The fire district has to pay the other half of the bill.
Right.
They can't just go to Northfield and say, listen, they already paid half, so you're only going to pay half.
Right.
It's going to come out of the fire district's budget, which we pay 64% of.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I did the
think
math. I
that-
forget exactly. It would
But-
cost us
Unless they,
$300
you know,
extra, I
Unless
think.
they're going to,
Otherwise, it would have cost us $1,000, and we felt that we would have to say no, but we had asked that Joyce relay that to Chief Ober, the reason why we said no.
Well, we could, the chief.
It wasn't,
ask if he could.
I don't want it to get via the chief,
No?
because it's not going to get presented that way.
it's
We know
between the
that.
Board of Selectmen and the
Right.
commissioners.
And I think it's the town administrator that should
Okay.
relate that information back to the chief on why we said no on the strobe. That's very important that they know why. You know, it's a difference of an extra $280 to us, paying it that way. We'd rather just pay our 64% of the bill in the district.
My understanding when we left was that, no, it's a district expense, and
Right.
they declined the request.
Right.
So nobody's gone back to him about it.
And in the meantime, we spoke to the commission.
Well, I was asked what we were going to do. So we really need to get that out soon.
Just surprised they didn't.
Okay. Are there any more questions or concerns or additions to the minutes of December 28th, 2011?
There is one spelling error on the
Okay.
second page.
Where?
9:30 a.m. Chairman Constantino made a motion to go into non-public. Plessner seconded, no further discuss.
Oh,
Should be discussion.
yep,
No further discussion?
yep.
Okay. Make a motion that we accept the minutes as amended on December 28th, 2011.
Second?
Any more comments, concerns, or additions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
Aye.
Now, does that complete our minutes, or we're really close to it, though, right?
Still a bunch in December,
Yeah,
isn't
the
there?
whole month of December.
Except for one. Seems like we were meeting every 35 minutes or so there for a while.
You're wrong, it's 33.
Yeah, but it
wonder
was
we're all
for
exhausted.
6
when you're
hours
having
at a
fun.
pop, so.
Chief, how are you? Didn't see you sneak in. You're crafty, you're crafty.
Okay. Catherine, you have some questions on the overtime.
I do. I understand why there's overtime, because of the holidays, et cetera, whatever. But my question is, we have 2 officers who work back-to-back shifts. They work 16 hours at a whack. And I thought we'd had a conversation about them doing that. There's another one, 16 and a half. The time out on the first shift is the time in on the second shift, on both of these. I mean, that's a long time for a policeman to be patrolling. 16 hours straight?
Yeah, they just can't exceed it. Yeah, they can work a double. And it goes by hours earned, so if they have 8 and they're at top of the list, they're gonna get asked.
I know they can, but
Yeah.
Contractually,
Yeah,
they
I mean,
can.
an 8-hour double for them isn't that bad. If we get past 16, it's not recommended, and we actually have a policy, they can't go past 18 unless it's an emergency.
I mean, we have this one officer is 64 hours in. And that's with 2 days off.
We had a lot of PTO on it.
Here's a 22. He did 22 hours. It wasn't back-to-back. It looks like he had a 2-hour reprieve.
Oh, well, there you go.
Were any of them detectives or?
No.
And these are patrol officers.
Why do we have, oh, because he has an 8-hour holiday, so subtract that with the 22.
Oh, it looked better my way.
I know. I was getting nervous there. He actually worked 14, and then the 8 with the holiday made it 22.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So he worked this shift, and then he came back and worked that shift, and then he
It's
got...
not like it says
It was on the
7
holiday, so he
7 to
got-
2.
So he
It's all
got,
1,700 and 2,300 and 0630.
Sometimes the way it's written, it looks worse than it is.
I just jumped to the total at the bottom. It was a whole lot easier. But I just think it's, I'm glad we don't do that often, because I think they're much crispier if they don't do a back-to-back.
See, they have the 8 hours,
Crispier?
work 8 hours.
And then you got the holiday.
I think they'd be crispy if they had to do it back-to-back.
Oh, no, he's not the one, it's this one.
I have concerns about
That one is two back-to-back.
people in high-stress jobs who carry guns and drive cars working too many hours. And just like not a good policy, I don't think.
I
Clearly
can
says
live
holiday.
with a double shift, but beyond that.
On
it's
the
just
odd
too
occasion,
much.
perhaps, yeah.
No, you can't do it regularly.
And I appreciate the fact that they're willing to, but I don't think it's a good policy.
No, it's not something we should do unless we absolutely have to, definitely, because they're definitely not crispy.
All right,
Crisp.
We don't want them to get crispy.
moving right along, Chairman takes control of the meeting again.
All right.
Joyce, we're up. The crispy police officers are really, we got to move from that. Yeah. Too many donuts. Uh-oh, double-sided, 2 pages. We're in trouble.
Double-sided, 2 pages, I'm passing down.
I
so
made,
if you just
I
wanna-
made 8 copies.
Oh, okay, I like this.
Where,
I thought this was your agenda.
oh,
I was getting nervous.
oh, okay. Thank you. No, this is my
Oh, I love these.
tracking worksheet.
Whoa, okay, this is warrant articles
Yes, this is the first,
proposed.
this is the first draft. And when will we know when the zoning amendments will be ready?
Well, we're having our first public hearing on the 10th. So, depending on what happens then, you can know as soon as the 11th, or if we have to have a second hearing because it changes.
Okay. There was some discussion, I had made a note about, do we want to offer the deaf exemption?
What?
So, what?
He was waiting on that one.
Yes, I
Oh,
was.
death? I thought you said death.
No, a deaf exemption. We have a blind
Yeah, you're
exemption
doing good, Catherine, as
We are
well.
not going to
and a
exempt people
disability
from taxes just
exemption,
because they're
disabled
deaf.
exemption. They're both $50,000.
Yeah, they don't have to pay.
I said blind, right? We have the
They're still
blind
taking up
exemption.
real estate,
So
what
if
they're
that's something you're
processing,
interested in, I can go research the
It's veteran cemetery,
statutes
then the
and
Boston
prepare
Association.
something for you.
We had somebody ask?
It's a
More than
disability.
one, or how many?
I'm just aware of one person that had asked if we had it. And I made a note to bring it to your attention if we wanted to add it.
Definitely a disability.
I never mind having it as a warrant article and letting the town,
Well, we have
those
to,
that are in charge decide.
any exemptions have to go be,
What constitutes being deaf?
that's why I have
It
to
would have to
go.
be very specific
Oh, yeah, they have
language.
standards. Like, I know I'm right in the middle.
Is that in the
7 is bad.
Well, I'm hard of
3.5
hearing,
to
but I
4.
mean, they'd have
No,
to
you
be
have-
pretty well
yes.
stone
Yeah,
deaf.
Yeah,
There's, I'm sure, what is it, would that be in the 72s?
yes.
I'm sure it's pretty well.
I'm in favor
Fine.
of putting it as an article and letting the legislative body decide.
Yes, me too.
I'll prepare something. And I can
Anybody else?
contact
Well,
other
I'm good for
towns and see what they allow for exemptions. Okay. On the next one, if you recall, we didn't have the 5 years. We had to withdraw this one from our warrant. Remember Chuck Mitchell
Yep.
researched it, so they said bring it back next year.
Pest House Road?
Yes. These were at the 2009 town meeting that had both been tabled, and a request was made to put these back on the warrant. The next articles I just copied directly from the 2011 warrant, so that you would know what amounts were appropriated in 2011.
The third article in the deliberative session.
2, 3, yes.
Is that the short segment?
That is correct. That's off of School Street.
It's not off of School Street.
Yes, it is.
It says 132.
Sanborn Road, I'm sorry.
That's a driveway, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor
Did I
of
say,
moving
did I have School
driveways.
Street or Sanborn Road? Sanborn Road, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, okay, I mean,
But you said School Street.
yeah, okay. good.
They both go to the same place, don't they?
The one on
Eventually. Eventually,
The
sort
one
of.
on, at the intersection of Pest House and Califf is also like a Woods Road driveway type thing, is that correct? If you were going up Califf Hill Road, that would be you would go straight and that would be the
That
road
first
right
real
there?
sharp turn,
Are
Yeah,
these
the sharp
steps
turn is
towards,
Pest House,
are
so,
these steps towards upgrading these roads from Class 6 to Class 5?
No.
No,
No,
it's so that the town would no longer have to maintain
yeah,
them.
these are,
well, these guys
Just
driveway.
continue, okay.
these are no longer
Just continue
maintained, but the
subject
house,
to gates.
yeah, the
All
house. The town retains
I was
ownership.
reading it differently.
Now, the section of Range Road from School Street, that we currently have an agreement with a resident there.
Plowing
Right?
that one?
No, we've not been maintaining it. The agreement was that he could build his house there. The understanding was that the town would not maintain that section of the road. What is the classification of that end?
Okay, now, you're talking about from the Califf Hill
No, no.
road end?
I'm on School Street.
Okay, you're on
You know, I
School
just
Street.
drove by Dave Wadley's.
Yeah.
And
God, you've got a good memory.
it's on the left. And
There used to be a greenhouse there or something?
on the right, there was
Yeah.
a greenhouse.
Yeah.
On the left
George
is that.
Hast
Yep.
maintains that he has an easement to the right, and we
Right.
maintain that it's Range Road,
right.
that argument.
We don't maintain that.
We don't maintain that, but I wanted to know, what was the classification of Range Road that comes from the west?
Oh, the part where the house is built?
Yes, we have the agreement
That
there.
is just a range road.
So
all.
that's subject to gates and bars.
Class
At this
6, right?
time.
Right, that's already not maintained.
Okay, I just wanted to be
He
certain.
can't, we have an arrangement, but does that mean that we've actually voted on that as a legislative body?
According to RSA's, when he wanted to build there, he came and spoke with the selectmen, and in order to build there, get a building permit, he had to sign an agreement that it was a range road, the town does not maintain it and will not maintain it, and that agreement was recorded at the Belknap Registry of Deeds.
And that's totally
And
legal.
according to RSA's, that's the only way you can allow a citizen to build on a road that is not cared for.
Was it Class 6 when he
Yeah, I don't
built
even
there?
think it's a Class 6, actually. It's a range road. It's below a Class 6.
I don't think it had ever been maintained
No.
by the town.
No.
I mean, it had always been a cattle path, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that,
Okay.
I think the next article on the town road, streets, bridges, I think that we're going to have a warrant meeting anyway, right, to discuss what
Oh, yeah.
we feel we should go in and everything, because I feel that that figure should be changed.
Over 40,000.
Up or down?
Up.
We have $1.6 million in the 10-year plan. 40,000 a year won't dent it.
Well, one of my questions about that is why, I know the answer to my question, sort of, at least one part. The finance officer isn't here, so he won't jump at me. But why is it we don't dedicate the, brain just died.
Oh, the
Road grant.
the
Highway
block
block
grant money,
grant.
Highway block grant money to this
because
fund.
instead of that money staying in the general fund to be used to offset your regular highway department expenses, then it would have to go directly into the capital reserve fund, and then you no longer have access to that.
I know it's used as operating.
But you'd have to
Money.
make it up in the
But-
operating budget, so, I mean, that would be a wash.
Yeah, either way it goes.
No, you would just budget accordingly, knowing that that money was going into the fund. I mean, it's given to us for roadways,
Right.
and, it's just a question.
Well, that's something that...
Dennis would like that.
Yes.
that's
I'm sure he would.
I was thinking, why wouldn't we put that aside toward the 10-year plan? Even that's not enough,
No, it's not enough.
realistically.
In addition to what's here, though, it would be.
It would be a heck of a dent, certainly. I'm thinking more like $100,000. And even that's technically not enough. But that's a good down payment.
When you start sticking large sums of money into capital reserves funds, you have to think about how, Mr. Property Owner can better use that money. Capital reserve accounts earn basically what, 2-3%? 5% if we're really going to be excited about it, and that's a long shot. But Mr. Property Owner, if he pays his taxes on time, right away, he's saving 12% on his money. If he has credit card bills, he's still saving even more on interest. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you have to
I
think about how
understand what
Mr.
you're saying,
Property
Catherine, but
Owner can
we're
use
gonna-
those monies.
we're gonna
We can
pay-
bond projects
And we'll pay
at
interest.
4%.
But we're still going to pay interest.
But Mr. Homeowner is going to pay a lot more interest on those tax dollars that he's given to us to stick in a capital reserve. I mean,
He's gonna
4%
pay
is cheap
On the
interest.
money he pays us for the
He can
capital
use
reserve.
his money better. The less money you take from Mr. Taxpayer and put in a capital reserve account, the better.
Which is what I'm saying. But
I
we're
agree
going to
with
charge
you.
him 4% on the back end.
But
We're not charging him
if we're
anything to put in
taking,
capital reserve.
if you start taking $100,000 or $150,000 a year and sticking it in a capital reserve account, now you're going to affect your tax rate.
Right.
And Mr. Homeowner's going to pay more taxes.
Yes.
But if you can bond a project, and your bond
Still
payments
gonna
are
end up paying
typically,
more
but your
taxes.
bond payments are typically what? Whatever a bond.
3-point-something.
No, but I mean, a bond
20
payment a
years.
year is like, what, 50,000? It's 50,000. That's not a huge impact on the tax rate.
Right.
Plus, you're getting future assessed value that's paying that instead of you today
That's right. It's
Laying
being
it out.
shared by
in the future.
people moving into town. If you raise all the money in 1 year to do a road project,
You've paid for it, but
then
you haven't done
everybody
the road
who's
project.
coming in and using that road in the future isn't paying for it.
Well,
We all paid
No
for it, but
way
they
we're going to
didn't.
raise all the money we need in a year.
No,
Right.
Therein
but
lies the problem.
Also,
what we really need
But I
to do
think we-
is sit down and have a plan.
I think-
And combine our projects, look at our projects, and look at them with the finance officer and Joyce and say, how are we going to fund these?
Right.
What makes sense to bond? What makes sense, what small portions can we raise in a year and plan on doing, this sidewalk, this short road, this culvert project? Maybe it's an $80,000 project.
Right.
Okay, let's put 40,000 this year, 40,000 this year, do the project. But when you're talking about a
Paper that says
$2
that.
or $3 million worth of road projects,
right,
you're not going to save that in a capital reserve account. That's a bond.
yeah.
And we
also
haven't
have to
looked at
bond
that.
We also have to bond our share of the class, or of the state road funds. That
Yeah, if
that
that's-
doesn't even approach the 1.6 million.
Even if that's still going to be in
Every time-
existence.
I mean-
Unless we bond later.
Right now, this community is used to putting $40,000 a year
Yeah.
into this
Right.
account.
Yeah.
And I think every time you put that money aside, you're saving, it's creating a savings account to help pay for some of this stuff. Yes, you're gonna bond these big items, but it's gonna be offset by what you've set aside.
Right.
And I think it would be imprudent of us to not do this.
Well,
Oh, no, I think we have to.
you're in a position now that if the board decides that you want to do some state aid road projects or bridge projects, that you've already got your match money that you can send to the state, the letter to the state saying,
Yeah.
okay, we've already raised
And
X number.
That's the small dollars, but what we have to do is we have to sit down with what Dennis has given us,
Yes.
and we have to put it into a plan.
What day do you want to do that?
I agree with that.
Sometime after February 1st, or February 7th.
What's
It was
February 7th?
February
The
6th
last
is
day of
the
petition warrant articles,
Oh,
is-
okay.
pretty much the end of March.
Yeah.
Then all we have to do is make the annual report.
Right.
But those letters have already gone out, so we
Yep.
should be... And when's the last public hearing on the budget?
Oh, they told us.
January 25th is the
Yes.
public hearing.
Yeah, the public hearing.
That budget has to be final by I forgot.
January 25th is their last budget hearing.
Oh, yeah.
March 1st, we have
Yeah,
to
I was there.
have the town report.
No, they've approved sections of it. They stopped just before they got into the park commissioner's budget. But
They
everything-
approved it
everything
all
above
except
that
the
was
park.
approved without deviation, but they also haven't gotten this information from us yet, so I'm sure that
What's that information?
what has
Encumbrances.
been encumbered.
I see, yep.
January 25th is the first public hearing, February 1st is the warrant article meeting, and February 8th is the second public hearing.
Okay. So, yeah, after February 7th sometime, things will be pretty well set for town meeting.
So that's your tip, your transportation improvement plan.
Town meeting is what, the 17th this year? The deliberative?
Yes.
Town meeting is the second Tuesday in March. We postponed the deliberative session till Saturday.
It's not the second Tuesday, the 17th is the third Tuesday.
Town meeting is the
second
second
Tuesday.
Tuesday of March.
Yeah,
The
second
13th.
Tuesday. I'm looking at
It's
Saturday.
always the second Tuesday of
Well, I
March,
was
which will be
talking
the 13th.
about the Saturday.
Yes, and
That's the
Saturday,
deliberative
17th.
session,
what I
which is going to
said.
be on St.
All
Patty's
right,
Day.
so I have the right.
Ugh,
You have to wear green.
no.
I know. Isn't that going to be fun? I'll bet 90% of the audience is in green. Can we decorate with
I'll be
shamrocks?
orange.
No.
You're going to be orange?
Say no to green.
Are we going to have a
Have you ever
detector at
seen
the
me
door
wear
to make sure
green?
nobody's walking
I
in
don't
with
think
weapons?
so.
Like they do in Southie?
Just a reminder that St. Patrick was Italian. Yes, he was born in Italy. Yes, he was born in Italy.
Didn't know that.
Odd, but
His
Piece of
parents were Irish.
Piece of trivia, just a piece of trivia.
by each, you know.
Like the dark side noise.
So this is pretty, I mean, I'm used to, pages and pages and pages and bond article after bond article after bond. This is like,
Where did you get the $5,583 for the
I
bird fund?
just cut and paste from our 2011 so that you would know what we did in 2011.
Oh, I see. So, okay.
See, we don't even know
We
yet.
don't, that's not going to go in there because,
We don't know what that would amount.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
that. Do you know what they've talked about for other recreational?
I've been a little out of it, Catherine.
Oh, I know, but you've been really good, though, attending meetings.
So we don't know yet what they're, because we're still paying bills.
At their meeting, I don't have my notes, either the 16th or the 23rd.
So can you think of anything, other things?
I haven't looked, is the
The island in here?
the island for the
I
engineer?
wrote it up top, red, on page 2.
Oh, just island?
Oh,
water?
island warrant article. Yeah.
We should put something in there for whatever,
Our wording should be, just to do due diligence to Northfield, we should
Right.
get a copy of theirs if they haven't written it, or at least our wording should be almost identical.
Right.
Except for the town.
yep.
Actually, it can be identical, because you don't put town of Tilton or town of Northfield.
Okay. Redistricting.
Okay.
What I would like, I'm giving you some information, is the board to adopt a resolution. I haven't written it yet, but there's some samples in there, and if you tell me what you want to say, I mean, I've got some things I can put in on my own. The status is after the House Committee, they voted to recommend the House leadership redistricting plan, so that was going to go to the floor of the House. But we think that there must be pressure being put on the leadership office. So instead, they've scheduled another Republican caucus that's going to be on January 17th. And when they do that, that usually means they don't have enough votes to get it passed on the floor. So we have a window of opportunity now to put more pressure on our representatives. And it's suggested that we have the selectmen not only send letters, but to put something in the media. So what Nashua did is they adopted a resolution, and they sent the resolution to the media.
Okay.
So my suggestion would be we send another letter, basically that, reemphasizing that Tilton should have its own representative, that the House leadership's plan is ignoring the constitutional amendment, ask them to go back and look at the alternative plans that have been submitted where Tilton does have its own rep, Tilton deserves its own rep, and then just reemphasize, like we did in our other letter, that Tilton and Samberton have very diverse interests. And send out another blast.
Very nice.
A resolution in the paper for the 17th.
So, if we are going to seek support from our representatives, does that mean we want to have them come to a meeting?
Oh,
With our senators, so that they could also join in with, in passing the word along to appropriate councilmen, and I think the more involved, the more word we get out that we really want this redistricting to happen.
Well, we should contact our buddy Ray.
Yes, I think we should, and that was my next
Well, he
statement.
did,
I think we should invite Ray Burton. I think we should invite the senators. I think we should invite, once again, our reps. And I think we should put it out into the media to say, come to our small town, to a town hall meeting on redistricting.
Town Hall Caucus?
Yeah, go ahead, poke the hornet's nest.
I want to do that for the 12th.
Dinner is looking better and better.
You're right.
I haven't even taken my paper out yet. Hold on.
Their caucus that they're having is on the 17th. And also just, just say, look, go back and look at, there's a lot of other good plans out there.
Right. The 12th, I think, if we can get them in here for the 12th, that would be great.
All right, and then I can have your resolution ready and all.
Ready, we could sign it, and
So-
they're meeting on the 17th?
They're caucusing on the 17th. Once they caucus, then they'll schedule it for another date to the
Does it behoove
House.
us to invite, this affects the town of Samberton, their Board of Selectmen, their representative?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
They have the same senator as we do.
No.
No.
No, that's right, I knew that. She's a very nice lady.
Deb Reynolds. No?
Is that a senator?
Forrester.
It's Judith Forrester.
And she's a very nice person as
She's
well.
very
I
nice.
met her
I knew that.
one day with Joyce up in Samberton.
All right, so what time?
We can invite her, too. Let's make it at a time people get out of work, so that it's easier to them.
6 o'clock.
6 or 7. Let's do it. Like a 6:30. Let's do a 6:30. What about that? Bye, Mark. 6:30. And we don't want to schedule anything else for
What
that
date are we
night.
talking about here?
January 12th.
Thursday, January 12th.
Next week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I'll be right here anyway. I'll be okay, probably. I eat all those Chico sticks, see?
yes.
So
Well,
in
not all
order,
of them, but most of them.
so can I ask Donna a question?
Yeah.
Would you write a press release, or can you have this in for next Thursday?
These are addicting.
You'll be here that night.
These things.
I don't know, that's peanut butter and coconut.
The invitation set up, and then
Are they on until 11 tomorrow? Is it 11? Okay,
Yep, I'm here all day. Do it.
Not a word from the Wadley seat, I tell you.
That's fine.
All right.
I was watching his face the whole time we were talking about it.
I was too.
Okay. Now, 6:30.
I like this resolution, too. I think that's really good.
Now, can you email us a copy of a plan that gives us our own, that makes sense for Sandmerton?
Yeah, the America Votes plan, which is nonpartisan, and it's on the website,
What website?
on the House website, all the different plans that are in there.
I didn't see that. I had trouble.
Okay, I'll send you the link for
Well,
that.
I was going to say, if you send this, it's got it right on here where you can click on it and bring it up.
No, what we clicked, well, that's their
It
results.
compares the American Votes House Districting Plan
Right.
versus House Republican Leadership Plan.
Their plan has the most, single reps for district than any plan, and also when you look at their variance,
Oh, here,
they have
this,
the smallest variance.
Oh, cool.
who was America Votes?
They're a nonpartisan group that they do it nationally, that they help states when they're going through redistricting, because it is rather daunting to make sure that it's nonpartisan and that it best meets the needs of the communities.
How do they receive their funding?
I have no idea. I'd have to go on their website and look.
That would be
They're a .org.
I would be very curious how they
Iran.
received their, yeah, there you go, China. The Republican National Committee, somebody. There you go.
What's interesting here is they say that their America Votes plan is supported by many members of the General Court. Isn't that interesting?
Well, they're absolutely right, and I'm glad that somebody's advocating on our behalf down there.
I did send a copy of our letter to the executive director for Granite State Progress, and she was very excited that our selectmen have taken an active interest in making sure that your voice is heard. Zandra Rice Hawkins, she's with the Granite State Progress, which is supporting the America Votes plan.
All right, so if I have any questions, I can call her.
She's wonderful to talk to. Okay.
I was just trying to look that up.
No, it's right on the back.
It's on the front, too.
No, the plan.
Oh, yeah.
The plan's on the back. Oh, very nice.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that already.
Well, some of it is. We're Sandmerton.
Well, these are the towns that meet the 3291 criteria for having their own rep.
Oh, that's
So it's
not,
comparing
It's like the
what
fifth
the
one,
America
sixth
Votes
one.
plan does to
Yeah,
the
that
House
isn't-
leadership, and you see House leadership's is 0.00000.
okay,
So
so
it's not
these,
just Tilton.
these who have the population,
Right. That don't have their own rep.
that's why Sandmerton's not on here. Okay, that makes sense now. Not as
All right.
excited as I used to be.
So that's going to be some work. All right.
Very nice. Well, we got a lot of work to do before next
I
Thursday.
know. The next thing is I didn't get a chance to finish the personnel policy updates. I'm sorry, it was a short week this week, short week last week, and I apologize, and it's on my progress worksheet. The next thing for an action item is 29 Beach Street. On January 6th, we're free to auction it. We've met all of our notice requirements. I did speak with one local auctioneer and asked him to send us a proposal that the board could use as an outline in order to do a request for proposal. This is an individual I've done auctions with before, Pepperly. Foster Pepper's son, Greg. So he can outline all the things that you have to take into consideration. The board, we can discuss it, and then you tell me what you want, because we're responsible for the
Do you usually add the
advertising.
auctioneer's costs
Yep,
onto the...
all costs.
Yes.
Okay.
Whereas we're limited that we can only retain our costs. But it would be interesting to see, they do use different percentages.
Has the former property owner removed all his personal possessions?
Yes.
Building's winterized, and police are property checking it, Chief. 29 Beach Street, yep.
Actually, from time to time, I drive by there just to see it. It's a lovely property.
It is.
When are we having that auction? Must be soon, huh?
Well, what we had talked about is because we know there's a lot of interest in it, especially from the local people. In order to even bid at the auction, what would be recommending to the board is that people have to post a security, and he had suggested $10,000, but you can decide. I mean, there'll be like a checklist that you can go through and make your decisions on what you want to do, so that the only people bidding have to put up some cash to bid. And then you have to allow at least...
Refundable, of course.
Oh, yes, of course.
Only the winning bidder would.
Yes.
Yes.
And then he also suggested that since we are working with some higher dollar amounts here, that to have another agreement where you would also retain the second highest bidders in the event that the first bidder's financing didn't go through, and to allow at least 30 days for the closing.
Yeah, that's some good advice.
But we'll be moving forward on that soon, I trust?
Yeah, well, we can do it now.
Okay.
So as soon as I get this proposal, and I explained to Greg that we have to get at least 3 estimates, but...
From auctioneers, you mean?
From auctioneers.
Right.
Reputable auctioneers, and they have to be licensed in the state of New Hampshire, and...
We also can roll that amount over into the money that we're owed, I assume?
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct. So there'll be a number of decisions that the board has to quickly make, and so we decide where we want to advertise. He can make suggestions, and we're responsible for that cost. And,
Well, that
Word
cost
out.
can be rolled into.
yes.
I don't remember. Is it beachfront?
Yes.
Or does it have access to a
No,
beach?
it's
Right
lakefront.
on the beach.
Waterfront property.
And normally,
A nice
you wouldn't
deck.
do an auction in the
House is in
wintertime,
sad shape.
but unless there's a northeaster,
House is in very sad shape.
people will show up, because this is a good property.
Yeah,
the
we need
location.
to advertise it in the cities like
What they would be able to buy the property for, though, even with the house on it, they couldn't buy that lot on the open market for that
Correct.
kind of money.
But,
If it-
you
it
know,
was
we
just
set a
bare
reserve
lot.
amount, and we have a
Depending on what
minimum
the
amount,
auction
which
does
is
to
all
the
of our
bidding,
costs.
and then
Right.
Drive it up.
And if nobody meets that reserve, then you
But,
say,
I
fine, thank
mean,
you very much,
based
we'll
upon what we
wait
need
and
to get
we'll
out of it,
auction
they
again
couldn't
another
buy
day.
that lot on the open market just as a raw lot.
If I'm the
Someone will
bank,
buy
I'm
the
gonna
lot.
buy it back.
even if they have to take the building
So
down.
I think anybody,
$90,000.
anybody
have
that
the
buys
lots
it
across the
could
street
tear the
from-
house down and not
You
really
know, it's a combination.
value.
There's an empty lot across the street that
It
goes with it.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
So can we sell them individually?
Well, no, it's one
One lot.
It's only,
We'd have to subdivide,
Has a
Catherine.
road through it.
Oh.
We'd have to
oh.
subdivide.
So it's not, it's
got a
one
right of
lot.
way over it.
It is not further subdividable.
It is one lot.
One
No,
lot
I know
where
it's
the
not.
road,
It's too
I
small.
have-
where the right of way.
This folder, I've got all the,
Yeah, it's
all,
one-
that's the
one
other
piece
thing
of
that helps with
property.
your auction, is you have all this information available, so people can come and preview it and do all their due diligence and
And this
research.
lot, the town hasn't given it individual map and lot numbers?
Correct, it's one lot.
Because like in the case of my property, it's one lot, but you've given me 2 different map and lot numbers. They're not even on the same
I'll
map.
double check, I know that the neighbor to the right,
Yeah.
it's 2 separate lots of record.
Right.
But I'll double check, I don't believe, because when when the gentleman was in, the former owner was in looking at it, he had previously done a lot line adjustment, and when he did that, he gave away too much acreage
Okay.
to do any further subdivision.
Okay, so I
But
mean,
I could
he's
be wrong.
stuck with what he's got.
How many tax bills does he get?
Just one.
Hey, I just want our 90 grand.
Well, it's more than that.
Whatever it is, yeah, with fees and whatever, you bet. But that's
Okay.
all I'm interested in. We're not gonna make a profit.
Right.
We can't make a profit.
We're going to just cover our expenses, that's all.
Right, and the rest has to go to the Superior Court, because there is a mortgage of record.
Yes.
And then they can figure out getting the money to them and any other lien holders. Then the only other thing is just remind, the memos did go out for the town reports, and we're getting responses in, and the selectmen, you need to work on writing your report, your dedication, and what you want to use for a cover, and if
That's
there's
her
any
job.
photographs that you want to put in.
She's the chairman, it's her
Right, I mean,
job.
I didn't send you the notice because you would, no. Okay, so those are like all the immediate things right now.
It's not my job to decide the dedication.
No,
I know who it should be dedicated to.
you have somebody?
Write it down.
I have 2 people.
Write it down, we'll look at them. I say write it down so that we know for sure nobody else sees it.
Right. I have a good idea, but...
The other thing is our New Hampshire Municipal Managers Association, that I'm a member of, they meet monthly. They have luncheon, and then they always have a program. I pay the cost myself for the lunch, if I choose to go to lunch. But it's just a good opportunity for networking, and they have a good program on Friday, January 20th. I checked with Catherine. She will be here. I'll only be gone from noon to about 2. It's just in Concord at the local government center. But it's just on IT, different IT.
Either
things.
way, right?
So that
Both of them.
make me a little...
Or both.
You want to put your name on there too?
I didn't add my name, but...
No,
So I
the
guess
name
it's
she
okay.
was coming up.
No, it's on there.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's the first name.
Okay, on the contract for Turner, because of the holiday week, I did send Bill Hickey what the board had wanted added to the contract, so asked him to insert that.
Contract
And I'm
for
just
what?
waiting it to get back. And then I did receive this email yesterday. I didn't want to
Joyce,
forward
which
it.
contract was that?
H.L. Turner for the
Mold mitigation,
mold mitigation.
Oh, okay. At
for lack of a
61.
better term.
Business Park Drive.
And this is an email that, if you want to share that.
Speaking of engineers, have we been reimbursed for Dennis's hours on Pine Street?
We have not.
Checks in the mail?
When was the last time we had any comment on that?
It was before Christmas when I spoke to Bill Rosignol. He said he would speak to him again, but
Wish him a happy new year this time. I
Now,
like
they
Bill.
we still owed them money theoretically, which we have not paid,
correct,
but it doesn't cover.
no. And also, they have incurred additional expenses themselves outside of our contract that they cannot bill us for.
Oh, shucks.
Are you sure?
So, but no, I made I'll contact again. And then Hiltz is still, they still owe us our $492, but again, because of the holidays, and a lot of people, a lot of offices just closed down, so, but he said, I spoke to Todd again today, and he said, oh, no, we know, yep, no, you'll get it next week.
And I'm not so worried about Hills.
Need to read that? That's a good one, Claire.
Because we have his money.
I'm almost done.
Don't tease me, Joyce.
I like both of these, but I think I agree with the top name.
I do too.
Being a resident,
Yes.
Just while we're, seem to be an intermission, why do we seem to have a problem with towels in the bathroom downstairs?
Yeah, why are there no towels in there?
Which bathroom?
The large one, the handicap one.
I complained
It's been out for 2 days.
today.
Yeah.
The
public bathroom.
The public bathroom is out of paper towels.
Somebody stuck a roll of paper towels on top of the dispenser.
I did.
Maybe
Did
the
you
new
not?
person doesn't know how to open it.
There last night, could be that Lois and Michelle opened.
Well, they should have at least left a note
Yeah.
letting us, somebody know, because it has been out
Last
for
time
2
I
days.
was in there, which was yesterday, there were paper towels.
No, there were
we
paper
put
towel-
a paper
I mean,
towel in
the
there.
brown stuff.
Oh, there wasn't when I got here yesterday. There was a roll of paper towels on top.
Okay,
There are
that I
two
didn't see.
dispensers in there and no paper towels.
not
and-
There's only
And now there's no
One's been
paper
removed.
towels, okay.
The other one's been removed.
That's right, you came out.
I came out with my hands gripping.
Wow, I didn't know this was going to be such a...
I know, let's
Catherine, can you,
bring back the meeting here. We'll definitely check on paper towels in the bathrooms.
and if I could request a very brief non-public,
Did we get back to you on that? January 20th? Did we, your date for LGC?
oh, I just assumed that,
Is the board in consensus with that? Going down to the LGC for afternoon for IT?
no, it's only 2 hours.
Couple hours?
When?
To do,
Friday, the 20th.
to do what?
I'm a member of the New Hampshire Municipal Managers Association. It's our professional organization. And I usually only go to their workshops if it's something that I feel is interesting and would benefit me, and they have a good one on IT. So I want to go to that one, so I'll be gone for a couple hours.
As long as it's...
Yes, Catherine's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said
Then
that.
I wouldn't have asked if
Read my
she...
mind.
It's fine then. I have no problems with it.
Continuing education is a good thing.
You want a motion?
No, I just, the town pays for my
I
membership.
was actually talking to the chair, but
Oh.
that's besides...
No, we don't need a motion on that.
Catherine, did you want to talk about Best Pocket Park? That's all the correspondence.
Okay. I'm going to read the letter that we received after we had sent our letter. Hi, Joyce attaches a copy of the letter we discussed. That's a letter dating back to,
That's the one you sent, right?
no,
Weeks ago?
that's the letter that, he's referring to the letter on November 17th, 2000 from Main Street. The department cannot directly deed this property to the town without documentation noting that we would do so when the project was complete. That's an about face. I cannot find the documentation in our files. If you can find documentation in the town files, please send them to me and we can reassess the situation. Now, here's the interesting sentence. The department would support this transfer, and our staff that was here at the time of the project recall an agreement. The department would appraise the property to determine its value and include this in its submission to the legislative committee, which is called the Long Range Capital Planning and Utilization Committee. The DOT would support to transfer the property to the town at no charge, but would assess an administrative fee of $1,100 as the department does on all sales, and let them decide how they wish to proceed. The town will be notified of when the legislative committee will meet on this property and will be invited to give testimony concerning this property. It will take approximately 3 months before we go in front of this committee. Any other questions, please feel free to contact me, Philip Miles, Chief of Property Management, New Hampshire DOT Bureau of Right-of-Way. Now, the letter, I vaguely remember this. This was the first year I was a selectman. The letter that he is referring to, that's our letter, is from the Main Street organization, Tilton's Main Street, and it is sent to Mr. Greer, who was Director of Project Development, Department of Transportation for DOT. It says, the Board of Directors of the Tilton Main Street Program, at their November 15th, 2000 meeting, voted unanimously to support the 2 votes taken by the Tilton Board of Selectmen at their November 10th meeting regarding the Park Street Bridge project. Specifically, the Tilton Main Street Program supports the following 2 Board of Selectmen votes. The state of New Hampshire shall complete the purchase of the 6 storefronts, demolish the 2 storefronts necessary for the project and the 2 adjoining storefronts, and then shall rehabilitate, restore the end of the remaining 2 storefronts and sell the remaining building. That's pretty convoluted. Upon completion of the project, the remaining vacant land shall be made into a park/green area at the expense of the state of New Hampshire and to the specifications of the town of Tilton. The park green area will be maintained by the town. If this option cannot be completed within the time constraints of keeping the project on schedule, then the selectmen consent as a last resort to the demolition, then the selectmen consent as a last resort to the demolition of all 6 storefronts. Number 2, the selectmen authorized Tom Ursia to act on behalf of the town in negotiating with DOT concerning the design and development of the green area/park that will be left after the completion of the Park Street Bridge project. Respectfully, the Board of Directors of the Tilton Main Street Program. This is signed by Gail Twombly, James Clements, Lauren Smith, Dave Fox, Janet Foster, and Bill Lawrence.
Do we
I
know if there's anything in their records?
asked Joyce to contact Vince.
And I did, and he emailed me back, and he said he would take a look. He says, but that was a long time ago.
91A. So that's where it stands. I mean, the letter to us from the Bureau of Right-of-Way, I mean, at the one hand, they're telling us they can't deed it to us unless we can show them documentation that that was the agreement. But then the last paragraph sounds like they want to transfer it to us. And certainly the middle statement is telling us that their staff remembers an agreement.
Well, the other thing is, I kind of know where everything is now in the locked room downstairs. Maybe there's some kind of file down there that came out of the selectman's office that was on that particular property.
There should be.
Yeah.
There should be a large file on it, because remember, that was the meeting in 2001, town meeting.
Right.
There was a warrant article for us to purchase
Right.
buildings and make it a substation,
Yeah.
a police department substation. What are you doing? We'll use your favorite one. No, I'm not sending you downstairs alone. Sorry. But, so there must be a file on that.
That was in 2001?
There was a lot of research done on that.
Yeah.
So 2001, if we can find,
2001, I think, is when that warrant article was.
Yeah, okay. I'll plan on spending a day downstairs and see what I can find. Because I know there's some files down there, but
Leave that there.
Our humidifiers are in. Mr. Hoey was here today. I haven't had a chance to go down and check, and he still needs to come back and fix that one hole in the furnace vent,
what was he doing today?
putting in the humidifiers.
Without sealing that wall or the grate?
Without what?
I thought he was going to seal that.
He's going to. He didn't do it today. He's going to come back. But that's in the boiler room, which is completely sealed off from the other part of the basement, that vent.
But the jail part of the basement, where it's damp, that wall towards the road is damp. He was going to do, wasn't he going to seal that?
I'll see what we can find out.
If it was 2001, either way, they're saying, no, we can't, we're not going to transfer it, we can't transfer it. And then the next sentence, they say, well, we can for $1,100.
Yeah, but
That's an administrative.
I already told him, I said, the selectmen aren't paying that.
Do it for nothing.
Yeah.
He said, well, request a waiver. We will.
Well,
What difference does it make? I don't know about...
we're maintaining a state-owned park.
On Main Street in Tilton, we still get the use of the park. As long as it stays a park, what difference does it make, really?
I think there was some concern about raising appropriating money to
Maintain a property
Maintain
they
a
don't own.
Property.
property that we don't own.
No, they'll be more than happy to, based on my conversation with Phil.
I think they're willing to
Yeah, they're willing to transfer it. It's just they have to go through their process because they were unable to find any documents. So now they got to go through this process. And
Right.
they have, it's their Department of Transportation administrative fee, but we would request that that be waived.
The whole thing that I'm thinking of is that whole business that happened up on East Main Street with that Martin property that turned out to be state-owned property, and now you have to pay them the value of the property, and I'm afraid that they're gonna backtrack and say, now you have to pay us the value of the property. If that's the case, I think we need to bill them for all the maintenance we've done on their property right from the get-go.
But it sounds to me like with this piece, that was part of the agreement.
Yeah, well,
That the town would
that
maintain
kind of hangs us right there, but I would still attempt to get it if they're gonna try to charge us something. I mean, if they wanna do it, just transfer the property at no cost to the town whatsoever, no administrative fee or cost to purchase the property, that's one thing. But if they wanna even charge that administrative fee, they are nuts.
He said that,
Article 9 was in the 2002 town vote.
2002? Okay.
2002. Article 9.
What does it say?
It says town vote to authorize the selectmen to enter into a purchase and sales agreement with the state of New Hampshire for the purchase of land and buildings depicted as parcel number U524 on the tax map located 302 Main Street, City of Town, raise appropriate sum of $10,000 for the purpose of developing process and architectural plans to modify the structure to permit the construction of public restrooms, office space, and a police substation.
And that's Best Pocket Park.
No,
No.
that was to purchase the storefronts beside it.
You see that picture on the far wall?
there's
But it
a
was all
door that
part
can
of
be
that.
Yes.
It was all part of
Talking
that.
about that one-story thing.
Well, that gives you a date, a time frame.
Well, I'm not going to go up there and fix it.
Write Joe a note.
Yes. Well, Joe, could you just go and close this? See that door right up there? Thank you.
He's gonna close that door up here.
Is he laughing yet?
So,
I think he just fell.
I think I don't know how soon we're going to hear back from Vince, but like Norman said, should we go ahead and send a letter to them saying, start the process and the town is waive the fee and
Seeking a waiver.
no
of the-
cost?
Well, I think we should see if we could get the information first from,
Yeah. I
Sandy's
think we
gonna-
need to find the information where they said they would deed it to us, and that, maybe that kind of,
If we find something in there sent by the state saying they would give it to us after everything was done and over, why would we do anything?
Right.
Other than
Well,
say, here's your paper.
but regardless of what we find, if we find something that says the state's going to give it to us, in here, they're saying
They're giving it to us.
they would support to transfer the property to the town at no charge. That's not the issue. Then they want to charge us an administrative fee.
well, and then,
How they
if that's the case, and after we go through all that, and they still want to charge the administrative fee, then we're going to ask for that waiver.
Well, I think it behooves us now to write a letter to them, tell them,
Yep.
because we want the process to get started. Tell them we would like the property transferred. We do not wish, I could think of other words to use, to pay the administrative fee. We do not intend to pay the administrative fee. As the maintenance cost of the park is hefty enough. Whatever words.
Substantial.
Substantial, see, you're good at this. But on those lines, explain to them that, we are left with an expense.
Well, I do know that the process he has to go through does take a long time, and I think he also said that back then, the legislation was different, that they didn't have to go through this process that they go through, they do now.
Right. And we definitely need to attend that meeting.
Yes, he said by all means, he would want you to attend. All right. Well, we
But I think we should send them a letter, tell them to get started now. And then whatever we find is just, if they try to back out.
We charge them for maintenance fees for the years we've done that.
We can't.
I think
We have an agreement that we would do that.
In conversations with them, it's like I've said to him, that the budget, and it is the budget committee that brought this up, they're not in favor of expending monies in maintaining a state-owned property. You know,
Those two motions that were referenced in the letter from the Main Street program need to be looked up as well, because what they're saying in the letter may not accurately reflect what the selectmen voted on at the time as far as maintaining the property,
Well, we know,
regardless of whose ownership it's under.
right, well, we know in 2002 it was on the town meeting, so I'm assuming if it goes to 2002 backwards, that you'll run across.
Well, I think they referenced the date
Did
on
they?
which the meeting occurred.
they did, in that letter from Main Street, you have the dates.
What was that date?
What is the dates in the Main Street letter of the
Wasn't it
selectmen's meeting?
November something or
November.
other?
I think it's November
Of 2001,
2000.
2000.
November 15th. Oh, wait, the Main Street meeting was November 15th. The Selectmen's meeting,
Doesn't tell you?
November 10th,
Okay, 11/10,
2000.
2000,
2000.
okay. So we can get those minutes, and then I'll look downstairs and see if I can't find something on that part.
And we can make a motion anytime saying that we're not going to
Right,
maintain it, but when I had a conversation with him, I mean, I told him our budget was very tight,
right.
and as the budget committee removes those maintenance funds from the budget, there's no way the town of Tilton can continue to maintain that state-owned property.
Correct, but I would hope that they wouldn't do that, because it would just, if you let it go, it's going to
Well,
cost
terrible.
more money to bring it back to the way it looks now.
We know the state is not going to maintain it,
He said that. He said they wouldn't.
so,
They don't care whether it looks like a huge heap or not.
no.
Wasn't one of the reasons for visibility? If it grows, overgrows, and overgrows, it's going to be visibility again, too,
Yeah,
right?
you know
It's
what
a-
they'll do? They'll come along with these big bush hog mowers and just
Flatten it.
flatten the whole thing.
Where'd Squantum go?
Riverfront. You don't have any visibility now because of the shrubbery they
Right.
planted in it. They planted a forest.
That's
on a
my
little
point.
patch of land, so there's no visibility.
I think they should have just planted grass and maybe some flowers along the edge.
It was Main Street that designed it. They bought the property, they bought all those properties because the state does that. They just wanted as much space for that rebuild of that bridge and intersection. And then that was what they felt they didn't need. That's what was left over when
but
they
I
sold
mean-
the storefronts, but
No thought was given to the fact that, oh, all this that we just planted is going to grow. And look at all the lights they put in there.
and that, again, we allowed Main Street to design it.
Oh, I didn't realize Main Street designed it, too.
Yep.
Yeah, the selectmen turned it over to Main Street.
Well,
The only other thing I was going to bring up was about the streetlights, this relamping.
yes, that,
But I haven't had a chance to talk with Dennis about it yet, so can I wait?
well, no, I think you should at least tell the
Relamping,
yes, the PSNH is coming in, this is somewhat what I said last night. They sent us an email saying that they were going to change the lamps and all of the lights in all of the street lights in our town in 2012. But now is the time to decide, because you wouldn't have an extra fee for them to do it, is to decide if you wanted to have a photo cell added to any of them that would shut it off at midnight, which is an energy-saving device. So if there's a street or corner, island, whatever, that you would propose to have this done and let them know ahead of time. As they're changing the lamps, they would add this photocell. I don't even know what the cost of the photocell was. It was was it?
I'm just looking.
so that they, shut off at midnight or
Yeah,
something?
and then you
And
get
then
a
they turn on-
different rate, a midnight rate street light.
Right.
What street light would we want to shut off at midnight? If we had a street light we wanted to shut off at midnight, why would we not discontinue the light altogether?
It's a great idea.
I mean,
Great
in the
purpose.
summer, it's what, dark is what, 8:30, dusk?
8:30, 9 o'clock.
Well,
Yeah,
this
so
was,
that's only a couple of hours. Why the heck would you want to have a street light that
Right.
you're
Can't
gonna...
think of any streetlights that I would want to remove right offhand, although there may be some.
Oh, I know
but-
a whole bunch of them.
all right.
The one-
I'll
311
email you all this
There's
information.
one across the street from my house, which should be moved to the new pole that's at the hill and not, where it is, because right now it kind of gets overgrown and you get very little light from it to begin with.
I want to
This
give
is
you
another-
more information so that we can
This,
have.
What are they
this
gonna
is another
revamp it?
project. This is another
Yes.
project, and it's a long time coming.
Yes.
We need to examine where the poles
Yes.
are, what the
Yes.
poles are, make sure we have the numbers.
Yes.
And go through a process of eliminating
Yes.
poles. This is the time to do it.
Yes.
This is exactly what, when I replied back to Joyce when we got the email, that I said Dennis might have a list of existing
Yeah,
poles,
he
pole
does,
numbers
yeah.
and so on, and then we could sit down and have a project
Yes.
that we look at each area individually and say yay or nay. Now's the time to say, we don't even need a streetlight here. Why do we have a streetlight here? Or maybe we'd like to have the island shut off at midnight and save some energy.
Well, the other question
doesn't have to
is,
be
what are they
everything.
are
be
they
Vest Pocket,
relamping
too.
with more energy efficient
Yes.
units?
Right at
Yes.
the corner.
They're gonna be using LEDs or just,
That I can't answer.
probably not.
They have energy-efficient outdoor
They're not quite there
lighting
yet.
service. But
So
I
it's
just-
in our emails, it's been emailed to everybody,
That's
so.
something we need to schedule with Dennis.
But they're doing this,
I
they're.
think I just sent this
When are they
to you.
doing it?
I'll send it to
You
everybody.
just sent
They're
it,
out
I didn't
2012.
notice, I thought you sent it to all of us.
Maybe I did.
Yeah, I know, but I thought you sent it
That
to,
to Joyce from Sue, dear municipal officials. Yeah, I think I did send it. I just forwarded it to everybody, and you're the only one that responded. And then I asked her to send me more information, and she said that currently the only town in New Hampshire that has the midnight rate photo cells is the town of Warner. They retrofitted 16 streetlights earlier this year. Tilton is on the schedule for routine relamping maintenance this year, so it's the best time to consider the installation of this type of photo cell at selected locations. I'm attaching a brochure on this option, which I believe explains the program pretty well. This feature
who
isn't...
pays for this photo cell to be installed?
we pay for the photo cell.
Yes.
Not for the installation. If we choose to do it while they're relamping, that's,
This feature isn't the best option for all streetlight locations, but in areas where lighting is not required after midnight, like the island and things like that, then it may be good at those locations. I would suggest that you include your safety officials in the discussion as you survey the town.
Right.
Locations such as municipal parking lots, intersections, municipal facilities, high-risk areas, and school zones, school bus pickup locations may not be the best location for the midnight option. And she'll be glad to meet with us to discuss all these options, which I think we should get her.
Right.
She can answer those questions.
agree.
We need to talk with Dennis. Dennis has the information on where all the poles are. We need to talk with the chief. So what Pat brought out is like, we've been talking about doing this, is now we need to do it because they're going to be doing the
The
relamp.
time is now.
Right.
right.
But,
Otherwise, it's going to cost us more money to do
Right.
it.
Yeah.
so we need to make this a priority project.
And when they lamp everything, the energy's going to be different, and we're going to be spending more money on the poles that we don't want
Right.
done to begin with. So now's the time to do it.
So, do you want to arrange for Sue to come to a selectmen's meeting, or do you want to set up a little subcommittee that we can work on this? Something during the day, would be best.
We could do a subcommittee, I think. We don't have to have a,
Right.
Have to have it during a meeting, and I mean, really, any and all of us that want to attend
Right,
can
can-
attend.
Right.
we could do
I
that.
didn't know that has to be in a regular meeting, but
All right.
We can have her, yeah, we can have her come and Dennis and Chief.
But in the meantime, I'll
You'll
make
meet
sure
with
you
us,
have this.
with the PSNH person. We're going to set something up.
And I have to get the list from Dennis of all our polls and the poll numbers. Wouldn't hurt if we had the list of the polls and poll numbers, and at least went out and saw it first.
Of which ones?
Yep.
and then met with her.
We could do that. We could also do a ride around with Dennis one day.
And do a right, yeah. Rather than try and decide and talk about which pool's right now.
Yeah, because there's stuff we don't know.
Yeah.
The Energy Committee is really not up and running yet. We have only 2 people that are
We can invite them. Mr.
formally impaneled.
And one of them is sick.
He would be good.
You.
No, I'm not the one that was, we have Bob Hoey, and we have my sister. Right. Yeah, and it went over like a lead balloon with a lot of the residents. Those call boxes are useless.
If you have a non-public, I just have a brief non-public. I've already talked to you about it.
Okay.
Bill and the rest of the board. And the streamlining some of the payroll deductions.
That's it?
I have a question from Business Park Drive.
Yes.
This letter from Aho Construction. Is he saying because the block came with a sealant that they're not responsible? Is there any indication of...
No, he was supposed to get back to us, and he was going, his charge was, he was supposed to get back to us
On
and
whether-
determine whether or not
Right.
it was manufactured with the
Right,
sealant
but
in
the-
it, and he's responding to that.
Right, and there's no other, we don't have any other tidbit.
No, this is, he's just
That's
on his
just that one
information
thing.
collecting.
Yep. I don't think at all the other way.
Right.
We do have to set something up very shortly with him for the mold mitigation. We have to get that going for MMRS. That's
He
a,
had said middle of January, right, when we spoke to him?
right, but we have to, they were waiting on Hickey, Turner, the Turner Group. So we have to find out where John is on that, and Radigan, to find out where that's at. We really
I
have to,
understand.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then we have to move forward on that because we have tenants that need that erratic
Remediation.
remediation, right? Yes.
So that would be a John question.
Yeah, more than anyone else, right? Yep, I would say. What? What?
I'll say for non-public.
Okay.
But since this is one of those touchy areas of
Yep.
litigation.
Litigation.
Well, I mean, having you be able to read that is, to me, is
It was brought out about it.
Oh.
was it? So that's good.
This was one of my jobs.
Okay. Joe, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, but I do have a question. How can we pay 2 hours of overtime to a guy that worked 9 hours in a week?
Did he work on Christmas or New Year's? On the holiday?
No. He had the Monday holiday. He had 3 days of paid time off. He worked 9 hours, and he gets paid for 42. I bet you he was salting or something on
Worked
Saturday
9
morning.
hours and got paid for 42.
3 days
Oh,
of
he got
paid
called
time
out.
off.
He got
Oh.
called out to salt and sand.
On his day off?
Yeah,
On Saturday morning.
on a Saturday,
So that was overtime.
on a Saturday morning, they got called out, that real sheen,
Yep.
that, yeah,
It was New Year's Eve day, right?
Right.
No, yeah, New Year's Eve day
Yeah.
correct.
in the morning.
Yes, 2 hours.
Still makes me squirm.
Just going from my daily, into my work.
Norm, I know you haven't been around. Do you have anything for us?
I have a couple of things. The
Okay.
first thing is that It's re-election time, and after much consideration, I have chosen to not seek re-election because of my health, because of the time that's required. I am now in the very beginning of a year of immunotherapy. It's not chemotherapy, it's immunotherapy, but it still can drag you down, make you very tired. I feel very remorseful that I've missed the last month of meetings. You know, I don't feel like I'm holding up my end of the bargain and doing justice to the town, and I think that I would only just be missing more meetings, so it's not fair to the town for me to hold a seat that I cannot fulfill the duties of. So at this point in time, I am not going to seek re-election. And while I have a public forum here, I just want people to understand that melanoma can strike anybody at any time. It doesn't rely upon sun exposure. You know, it cost me 20% of my right foot. If at any time you see a change in coloration, a sore that won't heal, a thickening of the skin for no reason, get to a doctor, and get to a doctor fast. Because I have stage 3 melanoma, and I'm going through all of this. The prognosis is very good. I don't want to paint a bleak picture here. The prognosis is very good, provided I go through this immunotherapy. I have a 75% survival chance. So that is the biggest reason is my health. I just don't feel like I can be fair to the town and take care of myself as I should. So I will not be seeking re-election this year. Who knows, a couple years down the road I may decide to put my hand back in, but right now I have to take care of myself.
Right.
The other thing is, going back to parks, because the Parks Commission did meet this week. We've already discussed West Pocket Park, so I won't bring that up, but apparently the rails on the fishing piers at Riverfront Park are getting wobbly and are in need of repair, so we're going to be looking at that.
Dennis is
As well
already
as-
looking at that.
Yeah.
That will come out of Dennis's budget.
Right, as well as, you know, the skating rink is going forward. I haven't even had a chance to go up there myself and see it. Have they dumped more water on it, Catherine?
No, but kids are skating on it.
But the kids are
What?
skating on what's there. They
There's a
have,
puddle in one end. How could they be skating on it? They're
Kids
going to
will-
skate onto that liner and it'll be all over.
That's what we're concerned about. I had a conversation with Chief Ober last week, or no, earlier this week. It was Monday, I think.
because it's
or
definitely
Tuesday.
been cold enough the past couple of days.
And they hadn't dumped any more water because they were looking for consistent cold. I believe his intention was, and Bob Hardy was going to contact him again to see if they would make a dump this week. But yeah, kids are skating on it.
Well, it's a patch of ice. I mean,
Please include what I said about melanoma.
So just continue with that. Are you all set?
I'm done. Thank you.
The skating rink, Chief, could you have your men at night patrol the skating rink? There are no lights there. There really shouldn't be anyone in the park after dark until we do have lights and it's up and running. The consensus is, I mean, we're going to have an ice skating rink policeman if we're going to keep kids off of it all the time. But at night, there's a more opportunity for
Mischief.
yes, thank you, that's a good word. Rather than what I was going to say. Mischief.
Diplomatic, Norman.
Mischief. So if they could, swing in there and just make sure there aren't kids there.
I'll have that building delivered to you tomorrow. We got that from you today.
That was my next question. Excellent, okay. All right, yes, the skating rink is being used.
I'm not surprised.
The rain actually helped. The first dump, I mean, we know the ground is not level now, definitely. We didn't know it was that much out of level. So something will have to be done in the spring, but the rain brought the ice coverage over to the far northwest corner as well as the northeast corner. So about a third is at least covered with ice.
Right.
It certainly is far thicker in that northeast corner.
I'm just afraid they're going to puncture that lining.
So are we, but, it's their skating rink, and if we can get them to have some ownership, maybe they'll take care of it, because the parts and pieces are expensive.
And the liner is the biggest expense, isn't it?
No,
No?
it's the sides.
Lego block?
The sides, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 components that make up the sides.
Each section?
Yeah, actually, each section is more than that, but I mean,
They're they're 4-foot Lego blocks.
there are brackets, the panels are at least 6 feet. I didn't stand one up, but they're pretty long. So there's 2 brackets, it's probably 3 brackets to a panel. Then there is a kick plate, and then there are, I call them noodles, I don't know what else they are, that holds everything together on the top.
That's so that if you crash onto one, you don't, cleave yourself in half.
Yeah, the noodles, they are a
Bumpers.
bumper, but they also hold
The lining is.
the kick plate and the liner and everything together.
Well, I went by there, and most of those were often on the ground and blowing
I know,
around.
I've picked
It
them up,
looks like it was even caved in, didn't it, on one side?
It was.
I've picked it up
Had to be picked up.
4 times so far. What's happening is, on the western side, because the wind is coming from that direction, it's picking up the liner, which is popping off the noodles, and then the liner goes flying.
So we got to get it filled with water and frozen.
We got to get it filled with water, and that's why Bob was calling him.
What happens how would you level that and not take away from the use of the ball field? If you can't,
Well, the football / volleyball / whatever other
Baseball.
sports they can play on ground,
Yeah.
soccer, that field would not be affected because the ice rink is on the western side and it's not in the football area. It would affect if the commissioners decide to have, and it has been in the long-range plans, but it hasn't been discussed recently, I'm saying recently in the past 3 months, a baseball field. That was always a plan for that park. It can't be Little League because Little League has to have a 4-foot fence in the outfield, and that would be in the football field, or soccer field, or whatever it is. So, but they could have a backboard, they could have a diamond, and then kids could play
Right.
baseball, leagues could,
could have
the young kids
softball.
could practice there.
You could have softball.
You could have softball. It would affect that, but there aren't any plans right now to put that in this year.
so you could level it next year.
So we could level it this year. We're already here.
2012.
This year.
2012, this year.
It is next year,
Yeah.
Pat.
I was going to contact a couple of earth movers and ask them to give us an estimate of what it would cost to level it off. We have the loam in the loam pile, so it'd really be just probably bulldozer work.
Yeah.
The only other thing I just wanted to bring the board up to date, the temporary furnace that's out partially in the street over by the Congregational Church should be gone by Friday. A decision was made to not repair the existing furnace in that building, but to replace it with a natural gas furnace. At the current time, a plumbing and heating company is assembling the natural gas furnace, waiting for the burner part, and what they will do is convert it to oil until they get the burner. But
So they have no heat right now?
the temporary
That's not
furnace
oil,
outside in the street is providing the heat.
Oh,
Their
I thought you
house,
said that broke down.
well, it was temporary, it broke down. Days have melded when it comes to this project. I'm going to throw out Tuesday, it broke down, the fuel congealed. The delivery person who brought the fuel to it
Bring Carol.
did not realize that the tank was outside, so when they delivered the oil, there was no anti-gel in it, and of course, when the temperature dropped, the fuel congealed. That was resolved. The owner of the property had D&B boilers come up and they repaired it this morning. It failed again, but that was because of all the workmen in the basement, the plumbing and heating and National Grid running the new gas lines. A breaker was overloaded that boiler is plugged into. And no electricity was supplied to the boiler. The owner of the property was on site. He's the one that discovered the problem, resolved it, and heat. It takes a long time to bring that.
This is for the church or for the?
This is for 281
Here comes
Main.
from Ed building.
This, it takes a long time. The temperature dropped as low as the recorded temperature was 43 degrees. In a building like that, it takes a lot of time to bring it back up to heat. Sure. But just so you know, that's what's going on.
Where do they propose to put the natural gas tank?
Natural gas
Natural
tank?
gas.
It's piped in.
It's piped in. There'll be
They
a,
have a pipe, okay.
there'll be my understanding is, yeah, there will be no, it does not have to have its own tank supply.
Right.
Someone thought that the natural gas would come into a tank and then to the furnace.
No, it doesn't.
But it doesn't, it's piped in directly. Those are the lines that National Grid is installing this week.
I see.
And it is an upgrade to the building. So,
Tell Lauren.
so hopefully this will resolve the heating issues we've had with that
How many
building.
tenants were in there?
My understanding is currently there are 4 apartments on the second floor. I don't believe there's any on the third floor, and I don't think any are allowed on the third floor.
No, it's already reached its maximum.
I believe so, yeah. And then there's 4 storefronts.
When the temperature got to 43 degrees, what happened to the tenant? They bubbled up, or?
One tenant closed their door, 2 tenants closed their doors, 2 continued, because the owner had informed everybody that heat was forthcoming, that it was only a temporary breakdown.
So you lost 2 tenants over this?
They didn't vacate, they just
I see,
closed for
I
the
see.
day. I
I
mean,
see.
there was some lost income for those tenants, I'm sure, but
What about the apartment?
Those
I
are the ones
have
referring
had
to.
no phone calls from the apartment dwellers on lack of heat. Both of these incidences, I understand, took place in the morning. And the first floor, of course, would lose heat more rapidly than the second floors, the above floors. When I went there last night to check on it, it was running when I went there. So,
Hopefully.
yeah, I mean, if the temperature was at 43 and 45, I think that's a clear indication that it was a morning event. If it had happened at midnight, I think it would be a lot lower.
Yeah.
We'd be having a different discussion. But I just wanted to bring you up to date with what's going on, and that boiler is now expected to be gone by Friday. Which is tomorrow.
It's good. That it for you?
Yes.
I have a couple of things. One is the senior center. The trees have been cut down. I thought we were going to get notified of it, but he had a down day and he just went and did it. Actually, it was on the holiday, so there was nobody around and whatever. So I sent everybody pictures of that, of the trees down. He did an excellent job cleaning up. It doesn't even look like there were trees down and any branches or anything left
Didn't
behind.
realize that's what I was looking at in the picture.
Yeah.
Now I'll have to go back and look.
4 huge trees down. So now there are no trees that squirrels can jump over. The senior center is having its last little doorknobs and light bulbs installed, and we are ready, willing, and able to open. We have a donation of silverware, a new set of silverware. We're looking for pots and pans and
Oh, I have
utensils. You have pots?
Pots, pans, inserts, trays, stuff like that at my house.
Great, okay. So we'll get together with you then. And then, so then we're looking for dishes. We do have the dishes that were out back, that were in the kitchen, that we can run through the dishwasher and make a go of it, but I think they're going to be pretty heavy for seniors to be lifting. They're really old, thick,
They're the typical commercial china.
really old.
Yeah.
Well, we can put them on display, maybe.
We used to call it diner china. Diner china.
Diner china.
Those.
Real
China,
thick,
China.
real thick, heavy. You put a couple of those in the box, and that was about all we could do to put them out in the outbuilding to pack away, so we could do the work. But I think I've sent everybody updated photos of the
There's running water now.
Is there piped gas?
Piped gas, running water. The sink is hooked up, refrigerator.
You light the stove?
Did not light the stove yet. I'm petrified to light the stove.
Together.
You ought to come to my house.
10
and I
burners.
light mine.
Oh,
I have gas, I wouldn't have anything else.
so,
See you coming in next week, all your eyebrows singed.
yeah.
Don't bend over. Stand up straight.
Yeah.
No. You
Especially
stand
with
up
your hair,
straight.
Catherine.
Yeah, stand up straight. I've had that happen. When is the grand opening?
Well, we're hoping to have a grand opening in a couple of months. A grand opening.
Sure.
Once we get all the
When do we get to
pieces.
see it?
I'm thinking we should have a meeting up there. I'm thinking we should have a Thursday night selectmen's meeting up there.
That'd be a good idea.
Be great.
I'm thinking it's nice and warm and toasty, and I think we should just go up there, and it's nice and clean. Tom, when he was finished, had the cleaning people come in and do it. I spent the day here because we had Tim and Catherine and Joyce out for the day on Friday, so I spent the day here. I thank you for being here at Town Hall, because you really don't realize how much of a job that they do and how much their jobs entail until you sit in one of their seats, just one of their seats. And I got all three during the day, before holiday, the end of the month, the whole bit. But there were a couple of people that came in and they had some concerns. I passed those concerns on to the code enforcement officer. I passed some concerns on to the welfare director, and some on to the chief. So it was very interesting at best, and I can certainly understand. I don't think that there were 10 minutes throughout the day, and I got here at 8:15. I don't think there were 10 minutes in the day where I actually sat for 10 minutes. It was, okay, up, go, up, go, this one here, okay, on the phone, I'm trying to get you. I'm on the phone, my cell phone's ringing, it's like, okay, I was really trying to get you. I know you were, but don't call me on the phone. It was quite interesting anyway. So thank you for the jobs that you folks do, because it's mind-boggling to me. So I have the downtown code enforcement. Pass that information, I'm done.
Oh, I don't really have anything tonight. I was just going to say, I was here Thursday, and it's busy here. I mean, it's always busy. I mean, and Thursday really was kind of a light day, but even when it's light, it's still busy, so. But I don't think any of us really appreciate everything that the people who work here go through on a daily basis until you've come and spent a day here. And, I mean, it wasn't anything new to me. I worked here for all those years, so I know how busy it gets. But it does, and it gives you a much greater appreciation for the people who do the work, you know, if you're familiar, or, you know, spend more than just a few minutes in the town hall. It runs very well, and the reason it runs as well as it does is for the people who work here, who make it run that well. So, thank you.
So, do we want to make a motion to dedicate this? We can say this out loud this year, right?
I don't think we're going to have any problem with them trying to surprise her.
No.
Second?
Motion, second,
I'd like to
all
make,
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
no, we can say it out loud this year.
Okay.
I think we all have consensus. I'd like to make a motion to dedicate this year's town report to Vicki Virgin.
Second.
Any more discussion? I think it's well-deserved, well-honored. Okay. All those in favor?
Anybody more deserving, and aye.
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 So next, who's going to write the write-up?
She's your friend.
I can give it a shot.
Okay, go for
I
it.
was going to say, you knew Becky as well as any of us.
Oh, I think you knew her best, but
Yeah,
So the two of you can,
yeah, we can confer and,
I only knew her a little bit, but I couldn't do her justice, I'm sure, for all the wonderful things she's done for the town over the years.
well, there's plenty of people out there that will help, that's for sure.
Good.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
Peter and
Marina,
Marina.
Congo Church will be a wealth of information.
yeah.
If you need any family background, I can give that to you.
Meeting with Reverend Taylor tomorrow morning.
There you go. Okay. I didn't even ask if there's anything from the public.
Everybody looks at Jane. I used to
you
be
get
the
anything?
public.
No, he went to the bathroom.
A coffee maker upstairs. I'm
Actually,
sorry,
that would work.
Jane, but that is not in the budget.
Wouldn't that be a technology thing?
Actually, I
Just
may
had to say that.
have a water cooler that the town can have to put up here. It just needs to be checked because there is a small leak in it. And if Dennis could have his guys take it apart and find where it's leaking, they can have it. It's free.
Water bubbler?
Yeah, water bubbler.
But Dennis, we can't give it to Dennis because it's not spoken.
Yeah. But it's just sitting at my house, and when I tried it, it did leak, and I was gonna take it apart, but I'm not
You
gonna
have your own
do that.
bubbler. I like that.
We should have a coffee
Bottled
maker.
water.
All right. So we have, take a few, because we're going to go into non-public for a minute.
Right, those things for Wendy.
Wimpy, really. We got a whole bag of it. It said extra strength on it. It wasn't. Jeez. It's like, okay, if there is no more business to come before us in a public forum, we do have, let me just check the FYI file. Okay, Chief, come on up. Come on up. Come on up.
Bring a message tomorrow at 3:30. It's the it's going to give Jim like a dedication award for all his support of the Legion over the years. They know he's been really retired. So that's at 3:30 and tomorrow, and I would pass that dedication over.
3:30?
3:30.
Okay.
You notice a lot of traffic tomorrow. Mitt Romney and the governor have occupied dinner.
right.
Mitt Romney and whom?
And the governor.
And the governor?
They're having,
John Lynch be at a Mitt Romney rally?
I was just...
because he's got nothing to lose. Are they having a public
Governor will be there
question and answer
tomorrow.
session?
The governor will be there tomorrow. Mitt Romney's. Tilton School,
Wow.
Where's the dedication at? For
Jim's office.
Jim's office.
Jim's office.
Where is Mitt Romney going to be tomorrow night at 6? The dining hall at the school. Right up, the big, you know where the arch is? You know where the arch is?
Across from the gym.
It's across from the gym. You know where the parking lot is, that like a half moon? It's right there in front of it. That building. Yep. Knowles Hall, right. Knowles. Well, 3:30, they're giving a dedication, the Legion is giving a dedication, an award to Jim Clements in his office at 3:30 tomorrow for his years of service to the Legion. We've been invited tomorrow.
Katsibas Day.
Mhm.
Peter Katsibas or February something.
Yeah.
We'll have to celebrate that. We'll have to do
Yes.
some research.
Oh, I'm glad you remembered that.
Peter Katsibas? Who's
I
Peter
think that was the
Katsibas?
guy's name. He has a day. Don't know
In Tilton.
until
He was
by
a war hero.
proclamation.
How are we going to find that again?
I don't recall how we found it the first, we were reading up on something
I was
else.
reading Selectmen's minutes,
Should we,
Oh, yeah.
town meeting minutes.
Always.
should we read the Tilton Northfield Aqueduct Annual Report?
The what?
I bet that's a hoot.
2011, here's the annual report for Tilton and
Put a
Northfield
picture of me in
Aqueduct
the
Company.
paper. Take a
2011 was a year of project completion, planning, and maintenance. The West Main Street project and the Winter Street Booster Pump Station were completed. The West Main Street improvement provided 3,706.5 feet of new 12-inch water main, which brought 6 hydrants on the west end of town up to NFPA standards. The new Winter Street Booster Pump Station was completed. It implements the latest technology, providing improved water pressure and fire flows. The old booster pump station was taken off the line and filled in. We have continued with our plan to revitalize the fire protection system for the district users and residents. In 2011, we replaced an aging hydrant on School Street. We also repaired the hydrant on Chestnut Street due to storm damage, and 2 other hydrants, one on Winter and one at Park and Holmes due to vehicle accidents. Our service technician, Steve Fournier, took the operator certification exam. He has received his Treatment 1 and Distribution 1 licenses from the State of New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. Congratulations, Steve. All field personnel are now fully licensed by the state. Fortunately, our system was minimally affected by Hurricane Irene in August of 2011. However, we did sustain damage from an earlier lightning storm. It was that storm that took down a tree that damaged the hydrant on Chestnut Street. It also took out communications from the reservoir tank to the wells. We had to replace the communications transmitter at the tank. Fortunately, our customers were able to enjoy uninterrupted service during all weather issues in 2011. The addition of 2 new 12-inch water main river crossings at Park Street and Granite Street has been delayed until 2012. We had many delays getting the project to bid. We will be putting the project out for rebid in early 2012. We replaced our 10-year-old service truck this fall with a 2012 Ford F-250. As always, our goal, first and foremost, is water quality for the district users. We work for you, and that message is always in the forefront. 2012 should be another year of growth and improvement for the district users. We encourage you to attend our meetings. We thank you for your support and look forward to working for you.
So this is their letter for our annual report. And there is no, okay. Did they send any financial information with it?
No, that's all I received.
Are you making a file of annual reports
Well,
too?
the way we have it set up is that when the notices went out, they're supposed to send them to a distribution email, Tilton Town Report. So everything goes in there, and that's where Tim,
And if they don't, did this go in there?
yes.
So this went that way. And what happens if they don't use that system?
Don't get it in the town report.
If it's me or to Tim, we forward it to the.
And if they don't email it to you and it comes in as a hard copy? Scan it in and send it?
Yeah. Yeah, he scans it, he's got the scanner.
Here's a letter. This is from the DES. It's an alteration of terrain permit for MB Tractor. So they're
Oh, can I
starting.
see that? So they are going to go forward.
Yeah. Good night, Donna.
Night, Donna.
Good night, Donna.
Okay. So with that said, we have a small non-public. I will make a motion to enter into non-public as per RSA 91A:3, personnel issue and a litigation issue, so B and E.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes, yes. That's it.
We're red.
We were gonna do a
Don't adjourn
motion.
until I ask some questions
Yeah,
about
we have
this.
to, well, we have to
but-
make those motions, too.
I don't even remember what they are at this point.
She wrote
Yes.
them down.
We've come out of non-public.
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that the minutes for the non-public be sealed permanently for the personnel issues, and that's all we talked about.
Litigation,
Oh, and the litigation until it's been resolved.
correct.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, now we do the motions.
Your turn, Catherine.
Just because I made the note.
Nobody else
I'll
can
make a
read them.
motion to no longer provide payroll deductions for outside agencies such as insurance companies.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded to no longer provide payroll deductions for outside agencies such as insurance companies. Is there any more discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. I would like to make a motion to limit direct deposit amounts to 2 per employees, with the exception of union dues direct deposit.
Second?
A motion's been made and seconded. I would like to give ample time to the employees, so I would like to put a 60-day. Is that ample time, or is that?
60 days.
Is that an amendment?
For the 2 direct deposits,
Right.
and the other will be in accordance with the
With the
Insurance
insurance, correct.
Right.
So I'll amend that, my motion to include, to be effective in 60 days, to give employees ample time to make other arrangements.
And I'll amend my second.
So a motion's been made and second not to allow more than 2 direct deposits, with the exception of the union dues. Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
No, we can't yet.
Oh,
She has to ask a question.
Okay.
okay.
I have the letter that's going to go out to property owners.
Oh, yes, thank you, yes. Do you want to make any changes? I can edit it. That's why it's in there, Kath.
The town of Tilton has contracted Avatar Associates of New England to verify all information on the assessment record cards for all properties in Tilton for data accuracy.
All of them.
We're doing them this year?
No, this is just, we're doing it for all of them, it's just we're doing a certain number this year. Why is that confusing?
It will be. There are some people out there who will think that, oh my God, this is a reassessing year.
They just did that.
Right, but this is only going to certain properties.
I know that, but it needs, I think that needs to be explained, because there are people that,
If the people who have been selected for this are the ones getting this letter, then it should say your property.
Write it on there.
Yeah, your
No,
property
I
is going
think
to be
they,
reassessed.
no, because now that thing, it sounds like we're singling them out. I think the explanation has to be that we take a random selection
It's
of,
not random.
okay, we take a
Changed it.
selection of properties,
Section of town.
Your property has been
okay, so that they
selected.
don't think that we're doing spot assessing.
Right.
So somehow could
Part
you
of it,
word
yeah, it's
that
part of a process.
so that somebody would understand the process we go through? And the other question is, it doesn't say anything that this is their mailing, right? This is the only mailing they're going to get previous to them coming out. I don't know if that
Don't they get something showing when they're coming out, point
No,
in time?
no, when they just show up,
right.
and if they're not home, they put a notice on the door
Oh, to
saying,
call.
you
Right.
weren't home, we were here, you will be getting a letter from us to reschedule an appointment.
And that's some of the confusion to some people. They think they're going to be notified of an appointment time. And I think just maybe a statement at the end down here that this is their notice of calling, that there won't be an appointment date or time, that
This is.
they're going to randomly
Yes.
show up.
And if you're not
I'd
home,
never liked that. What if I'm not there?
then they'll.
Well, you
Leave a hanger on your
A door
door.
hanger,
You think
letting
of
them
the
know.
number-
that
Been there, done that.
You think of the number of properties that they have to go through, and if they were to sit down and try to make an appointment with each and every one of those property owners,
They might have to work.
I can kind of understand, but I just think we need to explain better the process.
Now I move we adjourn?
Second.
Yes,
Negotiable, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
non-debatable.
That's only one.